leak how Miyamoto leaked his own IMDb page.
Right? Come on, come on. You would think he didn't have an IMDb page before Super Mario Brothers or some shit. Like, of course, he's always had one. So all of a sudden, it's shit's leaking now. Come on, come on.
Aren't you able to just like edit certain like pages, like Wikipedia
It's like
pages?
Wiki, man.
It's like Wikipedia. Yeah, you can edit
Miyamoto
shit.
isn't gonna fucking put on his IMDb page. Yeah, I'm working on like Donkey Kong. It's
Yeah.
gonna come out in 2025. Get out
Put
of
that shit on
here.
IMDb.
He's setting it on his computer and shit.
Just
Man.
put
He
all that
doesn't
shit on
give a shit.
IMDb. Go ahead. Who cares?
It's so
Yeah,
good.
and it's like every it wasn't even sure what they were, which one remake they were doing. Wasn't even like sure which one they were gonna do. Like, oh, he wouldn't know. He wouldn't know.
Are we on yet?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
Oh,
out.
what I was saying was like you can just mention it in an article, and then that shit pops up on IMDb. You can just mention, oh, we might be doing this. Well, yeah, the guy's, he's putting some stuff together for pre-production for blah blah blah, and that shit it will end up, they'll have the pre-production shit for IMDb. That's how simple and easy it is. And for people to get all riled up over a bunch of in production project on IMDb of all places,
Yeah.
like it's just the Internet Movie Database. Like, sure, obviously they have video game stuff in there because people do voice acting
Yeah.
and whatnot. But come on, you think Nintendo's gonna fail like that? They're gonna fail on IMDb as a leak? Come on, stop it. You guys are way too
Miyamoto
thirsty.
himself, like he's sitting at home in his office. Oh man, we're working on a new Zelda. I gotta put it on my IMDb, man.
I'm gonna fix my
Wow,
IMDb
what a
page.
shocker! Working on a new Zelda game? Can't believe it.
Right,
What's up, Lenny? What's up, J Biggs?
so lazy.
So what is the switch to like I said, I saw like, what was it? What did I just say? The Joy-Cons, the OG Joy-Cons won't attach to the new Switch, but they'll work, and then that the cartridges,
magnetic.
same thing with the cartridges. It's like anybody could make that guess. Like, that's not some crazy, because if it's an
That's not a
8-inch
great
screen,
guess either.
if you believe it's an
What's
8-inch
wrong?
screen, then they're already not going to be the right size to fit
Right.
the new Switch. Like, they're going to be smaller. Like, it'd look weird. They might still click in though. But are people?
I don't. No Nintendo. I don't think they're just gonna completely toss everybody's Joy Cons away. I think, like for me, that's one of the best things about the Switch is the rail system. I think that's a good, because as a Lenovo Legion Go guy, it sucks.
Yeah.
Like the way those controllers attach to the sides is trash.
Nintendo must have a patent then.
They have a patent, yeah. That's why Lenovo couldn't do it because they have a patent on it. And it's like, well, that's the best thing they got going as far as how you attach your controllers. Why?
I mean, if I was Nintendo, I would drop the Joy-Cons. I'm just saying.
like magnetic. That's not gonna be enough.
No.
That shit gonna fall out your hands.
I was
Like,
gonna say that system doesn't work anyway, because if it's still gonna be like a Switch and you can play it in handheld, magnetic is the stupidest thing ever. Like nobody's gonna be able to like hold
Shit
that
would be
properly.
flying to
No.
your Switch, like, unless
Yeah.
all the magnets are in the Joy-Cons, then they're gonna get stuck to anything metal. You put it
and
by
do
your
you really
phone,
want magnets on your fucking
tablet,
that has a hard drive in it? Like, is that really? Like, you want a magnet
and the
powerful enough
screen.
to? Like, that's and the screen too. Like, are you stupid? Like, that's a dumb. I don't believe that at all.
No, that pretty much
Just for the
nullifies.
magnets even work, like you said, they have to be like really powerful. Like
Yeah,
like you said, that's what you want, like extra strong magnets
And
on
by
that
the way,
shit.
no matter how powerful they are, over time they're going to weaken. That's how magnets work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a stupid idea if you know anything about science. It's not going to hold. So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, to be strong enough to actually be usable, they'd be so strong anytime you got by your phone, it'd like mess up the screen. Anytime you got by anything metal, a razor blade or something's gonna suck to your system. Like, that's just a dumb idea. I do agree, Lenny. They don't have to ditch it. They can still make it compatible with the new Switch, but I don't need the new Switch to have the exact Joy-Cons. I want them to be
they can do it. They just gotta remake them, man, completely.
Start from scratch.
These are wonderful.
Yeah, something
okay.
like that.
All you need to do is make them a little thicker, like, and these still fit your current Switch. So obviously, like, you don't have to do anything crazy with the Joy-Cons to make them better. Just make them better. That's it.
Terrell, any thoughts?
I'm reading. I actually had to go look up the rumors to see what it.
Oh, you got
They
the
saw
rumors.
they basically said it's gonna be
Yeah.
like the DS to 3DS, where backwards compatibility work, but you can't put a 3DS cart in a DS. Basically, you can't put a Switch 2 cart in the
So
Switch.
there's
Again, a really good guess because Nintendo has already done that before.
there's a
Like, that's-
couple of. So I don't know. I'll read what I have just, and then obviously there might be some more. The Bluetooth chip of the Switch 2 still supports existing Joy-Con and Pro controllers. Still features HD vibration. The backwards compatibility, kind of like what you said, it supports Switch 1 cartridges, but you can't use Switch 2 cartridges on Switch 1. The new Joy-Con are larger, and the magnetic attached to the console, which I just went through the whole magnetic issue. The S and LR buttons are metallic. There's a new button behind each Joy-Con located where the button is, and a new button below the home button on the right Joy-Con. Oh, they have like images to show where they're
Oh,
talking.
I know, and people found it out blindfolded by feeling the system.
that was the best.
Uh,
Yeah, the accessories makers, they weren't allowed to see the Switch 2, but they could feel it in the dark, I guess.
The dock. Oh, Lord.
That almost sounds too crazy that it might be true. You know, one of those
The
things that's
dock-
too crazy to be made up.
It's so stupid.
I mean,
it could be true.
I think it depends on how. I feel like if you use a somewhat weaker magnet with a railing system, it might be fine. I was gonna say, oh, so the other part is the dock will still have the USB-C port. It will also support 4K image output. The new kickstand now has a dampening bracket on the back for improved angle adjustment. The screen is bigger, up to 8 inches, and the resolution is upgraded to 1080p.
These are too detailed. That's the problem.
This sounds
with
like what people
It's too
want it to
detailed.
be, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's too detailed to be true. You know what I mean? Like when you usually get a rumor, it's one or two things you hear, but this is like a complete breakdown,
It is pretty
and
true.
that's why it
true.
sounds like phony nonsense to me.
It's like the original Switch. They nailed the concept, but they weren't talking about a flimsy kickstand. They
Like
weren't.
they nailed the thing. They said, okay, it's a hybrid thing. They nailed that.
To be
But they
fair,
didn't
that
tell
was
you
the bigger
exactly what
deal,
it was gonna be.
Was what
What
it
kind of-
was, not the specifics.
Right. This
Yeah, I
seems
guess-
very specific.
Maybe that's what is the only thing we're talking about though is how it's different than. The
I guess my
original
question
Switch.
is, I do want to. The reason why I want to land on the magnetic thing is like, is that a completely like trash idea for the?
No.
for-
No, I think you were saying you said something about magnets and still having the railing system
Yeah,
together.
like that
makes sense. Yeah,
like
that's
a
good.
weak, just like a weaker magnet that
Yeah.
not like the main reason why it's hooked on.
Right,
Like,
right.
The railing is still holding it, but the magnet's gonna help maintain the
And
attachment.
help you as you're attaching it. Yes, that makes sense. I'm good with that. But then to act like if you're getting rid of the railing system, that's just completely stupid. First of all, you own the patent, and it's a good patent. That is a good railing
Mhm.
system for your controllers. So
The biggest issue is just finding a way for them to maintain. How do you? I guess if you made, because I think people have modded their Joy-Cons where the little button you press to detach the Joy-Con, it's like made out of plastic, and I think people just switched it with metal, and it seems to work more consistently.
Yeah,
I
because
guess my
that is a
question
pain in
is-
the ass.
My question is, is the metal like a permanent solution, or do they need to try something different if they wanted to like keep the railing system, but have it where it doesn't eventually over time just fucking snap off and you can just slide them up and down without the.
Well, my worry is
release.
when you're mixing metal and plastic. I'm worried that you're gonna wear that plastic out eventually.
Is that the
with
reason why
metal.
they went straight plastic, or was it?
I think so. I think that's why they did it, and it's
Mhm.
also obviously more cost effective. But
Yeah.
I think it just makes more sense over time.
I guess
I
my
think
question is like, is there any way? Is there any compromise? I guess to where it will maintain its grip for a longer amount of time while also not damaging the hardware over time.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird.
There is some flimsiness, right? Because like I got a couple
Yeah.
of Joy Cons that no longer click into place. They them bitches will slide right the hell up off.
Yeah,
You're stupid enough to. So the magnet, I think, is a compromise for that. You know, just in case that happens to your Joy-Con.
Yeah.
I don't see them going like, making like a metal, button or whatever. I unless they do the whole controller that way. And they're not going to do that, and that's not a comfortable.
I don't really see the point of having metal buttons, honestly.
Yeah, I don't either.
Does any console have metal buttons?
Not that I know of.
What difference does it make either? It's not like the plastic button.
Well, I'm just curious if there be any inherent advantage of having
No.
metal buttons.
It's a pointless addition, and it's again why even mention it? Like the SLSR buttons are the most worthless buttons on the controller. How like try playing Mario Kart with those? I mean, you can literally technically play, but it's like those are the least.
They need to get out of that mentality of here. Let me hand one of my Joy-Cons off. That rarely. I mean, maybe in the first year people did that a little bit. But I'm sure that shit was over pretty quickly once they realized, like, it seemed like a cool idea, but it's good in a bind, right? It still is a good idea in a bind. You don't have to completely ditch it, but
don't prioritize.
Don't like emphasize it. Yeah, don't do that. This is what you should do. You should have a real D-pad on the bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like. And if you have to, you can still use the D-pad like their buttons. The
I wouldn't mind an elite.
So,
I wouldn't mind like an elite Nintendo controller, kind of like what PlayStation and Xbox have done. They're like high end for those who want to spend the money. Because I feel like the one thing people don't have not liked is not having a modular controller, and it's like every time I get a Nintendo console, I gotta buy. Whoops! I almost pulled my damn charger.
Well, there's really good third-party
one of these in order to get like a proper experience, and I'm like,
there are good third-party modular controllers for the Switch. If you,
but it's fucking Nintendo.
You want Nintendo to make one? What the fuck?
Yeah. So I ain't got to deal with some potential side. I won't say that. Third party control is gonna hold up Nintendo's
these days. You ain't talking about the terrible days of third party controllers in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s before they got it together. Those controllers were ass.
Hey, listen,
GameCube had some bad ones.
That was growing pains. Okay, we were trying to get this shit together.
Yeah, they're way better now. Way better than they used to be. You buy those extra controllers for your friends when they come over and give them that shit.
My buddy's like, I bought this GameCube and he got all these games, and I was like, oh, let's play. Every controller was a third-party piece of trash. I was like, I can't play this.
That's why I hate the fucking PS2 ones. PS2 third parties drove me nuts.
I think I still have them. They're so bad.
That's what you always do with the N64 also when you play with
you give them that garbage
the people with like the shitty joysticks, you give them to your friends.
Oh my god.
Wearing the fucking palms out and shit on that garbage.
Yeah, those companies even still exist anymore. Because a lot of them
like Mad Cats and shit. Remember Mad Cats?
I think Mad Cats is
still around.
Them fucking fight sticks, dog. That's what you buy. That's what you get a Mad Cat.
Oh, yeah, the Mad Cat fight sticks. That's what you get.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
They were some ugly N64 third-party controllers. They were hideous.
They were the worst for the N64 itself.
They were the worst.
I don't know, because the N64 controller itself is like perfect to me. I don't know. So any variation of it just looked like really stupid.
It was like pulling fucking potatoes or some shit. It's like 3 potato prongs. They were bad, and it was like one that looked like a fucking batarang or some shit. It was like a half, because it didn't have the grips. It only had like a little bit of curve. I'm like, what is that? You could do better than that, I think.
Look like a peeled banana. You put that bitch upside down. Yeah, that's terrible.
I remember when fucking Nintendo put out those. Was it the glove? They put out a glove or something because people were getting their palms all fucked up on Mario Party and shit. And so they put out like a little glove as so please don't sue us. Here, take this.
Didn't it in later Mario Party say like a warning, like don't use your palm?
Don't use your palm, yeah. Because everybody was doing that.
Buddy came into work and his whole palm was just blistered. He's like, I'm playing Mario Party. I was like, Jesus, dude.
My God.
Went in on that Mario Party, bro. That was serious.
Mario Party was a whole lifestyle.
I played it once, clocked it, and he cheated his ass all the way to the end.
Wow. Wow. Your
He
first
cheated.
response to this man cheated.
I don't know. I don't even remember what he did.
Not that you
Was
lost
it the
fair and
character he
square.
picked? Something. He definitely had some kind of advantage.
Maybe he was just better than you. He could have just been that.
No, he knew something I didn't. That's for sure.
Yeah, man.
Look how that can't be it.
He destroyed us all. I mean, he just.
He did. He whooped our ass. He whooped our ass.
Hey, that's what you get when you play like
He was
every
some insider
third
tricks and
party.
shit.
I blame. It's a European thing. I hate Europeans with this.
He was
shit.
going to fucking Nintendo Power and reading the next Nestor sections and shit. He was some insider shit.
That man was plotting for decades. He was waiting for this moment to come out and show you why the fuck
Finally.
he's the king. It was literally Return of the King. It was fucking terrible.
It's a lot of probability, but I think you can twist that probability in that game. A lot of luck. If you know what you're doing.
There wasn't a lot of Switch 2 rumor stuff other than those tidbits. That was kind of the main thing.
They say something about the cartridge.
Yeah, just the fact that the cartridge won't
yeah.
be backwards compatible. But we kind of expected that.
Well, hold on now.
They
Hold
say
your
that
horses.
every generation.
Hold your horses. They don't.
No. I mean, Switch 1 is backwards compatible, but not Switch 2. Like you can't alternate between the two, which I kind of expected. I'm like, okay, cool.
Okay, but you're saying you expected, like this is confirmed information, is what I'm saying.
No. I get it. I understand. We're still in the maybe section because there is no
We
confirmation
still
of
expect
anything.
that to be the case. Like that's
Okay.
we all pretty much expect.
What about so I think everyone kind of agree with this. Early 2025 would be the release of it, is what is where everyone's kind of landing. Is that like a fair assumption?
It was back on for 24.
I think I thought the rumor was, from what I understood, was that it was supposed to be 2024, but they wanted to push it back. They pushed it back. That's what it was.
They didn't want to face off against the PS5 Pro.
No, I think they probably mad they pushed it back because fucking that's holiday season, dog. That's holiday money.
I mean, that was great for Switch, obviously, when it first came out. But do you want to test Fate? I think you want to get that holiday money. That's that's safe. That's a safe bet.
I'd be curious why. I'd be curious what the reason. If it does get confirmed to come out like early next year, I want to know like what was the thing that made you go, "Fuck, we gotta skip holiday," because it had to be.
Excuse me, it's a PS5 Pro, bro. That's what it is.
There's no way in fucking hell it's PS5 Pro, dog. I don't even understand what the fuck the point of that console is right now.
Nobody does except for hardcore Sony fans.
And you just came out with the Slim last year. Like this is just
Problem is it's the price it's gonna have to be.
What was the assumption? What's the guess for the price?
The PS5 is still 500. You're 600 minimum.
That's got to be minimum.
And if the specs are legit, I would say 650 is possible, 700 possible.
Unless they make it 5 and then it drop the PS5.
If they did that, that would be something. But I don't expect that at all.
Even if they drop the price of PS5 regular, that's still a big ask.
If they dropped the regular PS5 to 400 and made the Pro 500, then I'd be like, all right, that's a bold move. But if it comes out at 600, 650, I mean, I told Terrell, for the longest time, you could have got Spider-Man 2 PS5 Slim bundle for what? 450 it was?
Yeah, it was 450.
Is it still that? I thought it was still
maybe it still is. I don't know if there's
it might still be. So here's the thing.
It's like, you're going to wait, pay possibly 650 with no game, pay 720 with the game.
Here's my question. If you're going to put out a Pro, like, I would feel like you would have to have a game that justifies, like...
Yeah.
Whoa, this is what
here's
it looks
what
like
I've been hearing.
Pro.
All the chatter.
Final Fantasy 7-3, bro.
All the chatter seems to have been because they were talking about how the era of you sucking some extra power out of a console, like late in its life, the era, the PS or the N64 or the PS3, that era is dead because all these consoles are very similar in architecture. And you pretty much know what you got after a couple years.
The only thing that's going to improve is the efficiency of the game engines. Like they're not going to figure out some way to make something that wasn't suddenly possible.
Because now
you know what
now it depends on the devs. I think like when you have like Nintendo, they go all out from the beginning and stuff. Whereas in the past, when you have like starting with the original NES already, like games from the beginning of the system to the end looked completely fucking different because they tried to get more out of it, and now you just
what I'm saying is that was typical because all these consoles were made differently. The architecture of them were very different. So people were just learning.
Yeah,
I
it
think
took them a while to figure it
people
out.
were just learning, how to program for 8-bit consoles and stuff, and it took them a while to get up to speed. That doesn't happen anymore because the developers already know, RAM is RAM, right? And your PC speed, clock speed, and all that, it's pretty set in, stone as far as what you're gonna get. You don't see that happening on PC where it's like, oh, I can really squeeze extra out of this current setup I have. No, you got to go get more hardware, and that's kind of where we are when it comes to consoles, because they're basically off the shelf PC parts for a lot of these consoles.
I guess my concern is that we're only year 4 for the PS5, right? Or am I tripping? 4 years?
Not even.
It'll be 4 by time
it came out in 2000.
I guess the reason why I bring it up because I'm like
2020.
It's 4 years and it's like 4 years and we're like, fuck. I guess we need to catch that deficit real quick. And I'm like,
well, I think it's also marketing. I think part of it is, obviously Sony, they missed their target by 4 million consoles or something, and it's like, oh, here's a new shiny thing, to make to boost the console sales. I think that's also part of it. Switch kind of did the same thing with the OLED, right? I mean, the Switch wasn't really slowing down yet, but the OLED definitely fucking lit a fire under the sales of the Switch. So,
that's okay with Sony though. Like if they're off by a few million, they just make up a new number, yeah.
Well, I think they're probably just looking at trying to follow the formula with the PS4 without. Because a lot of people said the same thing in the early days of the PS4. Why is the system selling? There's no games.
Yeah, even the creators, Sony.
Yeah, but ironically enough, I feel like I would argue this feels worse than the PS4 in some aspects.
Yeah, this is not.
But I could see Sony just saying, "Well, this is when we release PS4 Pro at year 4. We're gonna just do this, try to mimic the same time frame strategy, and hope that this results are the same."
I guess the difference is the PS4 was selling more than the
Actually, the PS4 Pro came out 3 years later because it came out in 2016 before Horizon, because everyone's like,
is it 16?
Well,
God, it was that early?
Yeah, because I got the
17.
Slim and Terrell bought the Pro when we got our Slim.
So
Wait a minute,
Pro came out a year before.
Yeah, the Series One X came out a year later, or maybe it wasn't a full year. Because Horizon was the game. It's like, oh, now you can play Horizon at this resolution. So yeah, it was.
He's right. Years. Although I didn't buy it the day it came out, but I bought it like early 2017 because I bought it like right before the Switch came out. I remember that.
And you were like, "This could be my digital library. It's gonna be all digital."
And then I fucking immediately regretted that decision. I was like, no. Let me I rescind my statements. I apologize to the masses.
Honestly.
That was a terrible
thought. I get the Pro 2019.
Yeah, you got like way.
I paid $300 and the thing was like brand new condition. Didn't have the box, but had a brand new controller. Basically, guy bought it for Red Dead Redemption 2. He played that and that was it. And his girlfriend and either she.
I think I felt more.
Told him talked him into selling it, or he had for financial reasons, and the thing was like brand new. And
I think I felt more justified buying the Pro anyway because. The only other thing I had was the Wii U, and it was kind of like.
I mean, I still to this day, I'm glad I didn't pay $400 for it, but it was a nice upgrade because I just got my 4K TV right around the same time. It was definitely an improvement because some games had a 60 FPS 1080p option, others didn't, but I feel like it was worth the $100 extra if you were buying both new and you were trying to decide. So I don't know. We'll have to see. There's only been I'd say one game for sure I own that I was like, yeah, if a Pro came out, I would like to at least play some more
GTA 5,
Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I'd love to see Avatar Frontiers of Pandora actually hitting a good resolution because it still looks good, but you can see the upscaling when you move the camera. Like that would be a game that I own that I'd be like, all right, it'd be nice to see that. And then Elden Ring would be the other because the frame rate's just a little choppy at times on PS5. But that one would that would run at 60. It wouldn't take much probably to get that to run at 60 locked. But other than that, like, I'm not gonna replay Avatar. I did everything I pretty much could do. I'm not gonna replay the whole game. They would have to have a new game that would really entice me. Because I'm not wanting to go back and play through all my games again. So for me, it was like, because I got the PS4 Slim in end of 2016, so I guess it was 3 years. It was right after Resident Evil 2. It was the year after Resident Evil 2 came out, so that was one of the first games I tried. I picked up Uncharted, Lost Legacy. I picked up Spider-Man and a couple other games when I got the Pro. And so I don't know. I can't see a scenario where I would pay $600 unless some miracle I could get. If I got like $450 for, even if I got $450 for my PS5, I don't think I wouldn't do it.
I don't even have a reason yet to get a PS5, let alone a PS5.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Pro.
real with you. I think what messed me up, and I have to be honest, because when I just using the PS4 Pro as the example, I look back to see why I bought that as early as I did, because I bought it like a couple months after it came out. But when it came to the PS5 Pro, I'm like, you know what's really making me not really worry about it as much? This fucking Xbox over here. My main thing was like third-party content. That was what the PS4 Pro was. Third-party and a couple of its first-party offerings. And I looked over and I went, well, fuck, all I got is a Wii U, so I need to go ahead and transition over. Mm-hmm. Also, because I don't think the PS4 Pro was... PS4 wasn't backwards compatible, right?
No,
right?
the original.
Yeah, so I couldn't play all my old games anyway.
PS3? No.
yeah, that's what I thought.
It's still
like, here, the only thing I would be getting a PS5 for at this point is the handful of games that are like only on the PS5 and don't have a PS4 version. And I'm just kind of like
that's like 4 games.
I don't know if it. Well, now there's.
But realistically,
I mean,
there's more.
So,
you mean that aren't on PC?
Spider-Man, like what?
Yeah. Let's go with aren't on PC. Let's say aren't on PC.
I can't think
of. You got Final Fantasy 16, 7 Rebirth, Helldivers, which.
You know that's coming. Like I'm not even.
I think that's my concern.
They'll be on PC,
I know it's coming.
You don't know what's coming.
Oh, you don't know what's coming. Yeah. Well, apparently Housemarque's teasing something tomorrow, but I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up like a lot of people.
Isn't Xbox supposed to be having some sort of event? Is that
they
tomorrow?
have like an indie thing, don't they?
They had an indie thing already. ID.
Had it already?
Yeah.
Oh, so
I thought it was yesterday. I thought it was
everybody
tomorrow.
Was saying Silksong for Indie World, then they're saying maybe Xbox.
I'm saying Silksong every time for everything.
Yeah,
man.
Just playing these fucking games. You just need to wait. Just say fuck it. I guess my thing is like, I think a Pro was more exciting because of my options.
Yeah, you didn't have
anything
anything else. The same thing for me. Of reverse, like because I have the PlayStation 5 for third-party games and stuff. Like the Xbox was only because I knew Hellblade 2 was coming out and anything else maybe. Like I'm not gonna start all of a sudden buying third-party games on there and unless there was like some really good.
I understand how people are owning all 3 consoles realistically.
It really, I mean, in this day and age, it doesn't really make as much sense.
No, just at the most I'm thinking 2. It's either like Sony and Nintendo or Xbox and Nintendo or like
PC and Nintendo.
Really. Yeah.
Right.
I like the idea that Nintendo's included no matter what.
Nintendo was obviously with us Nintendrons, it's going to be a
hey, I've heard it in a minute.
It's weird because
I mean,
I was just thinking like talk about we don't know from Sony. I don't know anything for 2024 from Nintendo that I would buy. Like
that's true. That's why I said
the only thing
Switch makes sense this year. We don't even know what the fuck.
We know there's a couple remakes and stuff, but
yeah, right.
There's nothing new.
I guess the question.
Well, they got Star Fox, and you see IMDb, the IMDb page. So,
isn't Endless Ocean is new, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, normally for the end of the year, you only learn it around July what's going to come. It's always been like that. I'm not saying we're going to get shit, but I'm just saying. Like,
I wouldn't say always.
The February Direct, they used to announce holidays.
Yeah, that's what I meant, June.
To me, I was like, June is when we usually start hearing something. My issue is
that was last year. For the past couple of years, the February Direct has...
It's only a couple years they did that.
Astral Chain was announced in a February Direct. Link's Awakening was a February direct. The February direct, it wasn't always June. They would save a couple for June, and then they have the occasional, I don't know, like Age. I wonder what Age of Calamity, if that was June or the February direct. Let's look.
I just watched an old ass video on that.
I want to say that might even been the November direct of previous year.
I know Hyrule Warriors.
I feel like that was November direct.
I remember Hyrule Warriors was. I don't know if that one was.
Age of Calamity reveal. I remember it's funny because I just went to YouTube to look up the reveal, and for whatever reason I decided to subscribe to I forget her name. Miss Click. And as I bring up YouTube to search for Age of Calamity reveal, she must have had a live stream.
Top one.
And I made fun of her, and people were, because she's like sitting there rattling off all the characters' names immediately, like instantly. Pura, instantly Robbie, instantly there was another one. Like some of the enemy, what was it?
Some of the NPC characters.
Remember the enemy character or somebody, like the Yiga Clan. I'm like, there's no fucking way that she's got a photographic memory. She knows all these people within 1 second of seeing them. Like I'm not saying I have the best memory, but I have a pretty good memory, and I had 300 hours in Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, I couldn't instantly remember Pura's name.
Was it a live stream?
No, it was a recorded reaction. I feel like she got notes. I feel like she had notes. That was a theory I had. All right, so Age of Calamity announcement was September 8th, 2020. So they announced that a year in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Yeah, it's not a rule. Nintendo does this thing, and then people start acting like
Animal Crossing was revealed in September direct, or no, I think it was September. But the last couple years they did hold some big announcements until the June summertime direct. Age of Calamity.
They're really concerned about the transition from Switch to Switch 2, or whatever they're gonna call it.
I think they learned that from the Wii U, the transition from the Wii U to the Switch. They planned the shit out of that, and it took their time with it. And you should, because that's the problem with Xbox and Sony. They don't do that, and then they launch with nothing to sell, and you have nothing for like 4 years to play on it, basically. And Nintendo learned from when they went from the Wii U to the Switch, from the Wii to the Wii U. Like they can't keep doing that. So I'm pretty sure they're planning the fuck out of this.
Well, they had Dark Souls remake.
you boy.
Was Ratchet and Clank? No, it wasn't.
No, Ratchet and Clank wasn't that
I thought that was a launch, but it's not.
I think that was the one game they had at launch.
Or was that launch window?
They had Astro's Playroom, which is basically a demo. Demon Souls.
No, I think you're right. That was like
those. They had Miles Morales, which is cross-platform. They had Sackboy, was cross-platform.
Oh my god! Yeah, you're right. But for Sony, that doesn't matter because the fucking sell consoles anyway. I mean, look at the PS4. That bitch had nothing, and it's so crazy.
Sony,
and even Sony executives were like, they were surprised it was selling. They
People wanted to play that neck so bad, man.
Oh, how dare you, dog!
Well, Microsoft, they planned on having Halo, but then Craig happened.
I think the Halo situation was so bad because that game was bad, like that game was so close to being like good, and they just wouldn't fucking finish it. That's all they had to do. They didn't
finish that bitch on time, and that's why Bonnie's gone. I'm sorry, that's just you failed. I mean, you got Master Chief on the box for the Xbox, and that bitch did not show up at launch. That is a disaster. A disaster.
I feel like that was a case of yes men going up.
Oh yeah,
saying, it's gonna be ready as it is and good.
Yeah, I think the reality.
We got the E3 and so that what the fuck.
I think the reality that Xbox may or may not have come to is that the only company that can get away with releasing jack shit and being like, I'm gonna sell is Sony at this point. Sony has a very strong
their brand
player base that will buy it just off of the branding alone.
Yeah.
Nintendo was like, I gotta have at least Zelda out here for to make some money. At least the Nintendo fans will be happy if I get Zelda out here on day one. I'm like,
I bet you.
You see what happened when they try to put Luigi out there? Oh fuck! they
Yeah.
put Luigi out there. Oh goddamn!
Hey, listen. He's been through a glow up recently. Leave that man alone. All right.
There's nothing wrong with the game. I'm just saying, you got to put your Mario, you got to put your Zelda out there when
You got to put your Mario where your mouth is.
You can't. Yeah,
Yeah,
you got.
because they have Nintendo has a track record of like lower sales for their consoles when you wouldn't you wouldn't expect the N64 to have only done 32 million when
why not?
everybody
everybody
I knew had
less than 300 games on it.
I know, but it's crazy. Like everybody I knew was gamers had one. Like
33 million is still a lot of consoles. Bro.
I was gonna say a little like there's a reason a lot of people who get
you gotta
into
remember
game
the time period
game for the N64 because that's a really low base of games.
Yeah, but I mean,
PlayStation was the one that changed fucking trajectories when it came to consoles.
PlayStation's only like console failure was 80 something million, so it's like
the PS3.
Whatever.
That was the failure.
Whatever they do, I mean, I don't know what the secret sauce is for their hardware, but I mean, if Microsoft wasn't pushing for the Series X, I'd be curious if Sony, if it was just up to their decision, there wasn't the competition. Let's say Microsoft was just going to match them. I wonder when they would have put it out and if they would have had, like, has Sony ever launched
what out?
The PS5? Like, I think if it was up to them. 2021 at the earliest.
PS5 be coming out right now. It wasn't no Microsoft.
Have they ever launched with like a really big, like solid, like amazing title? Let's say not a solid title, like PlayStation. Have they ever launched with like a first party, like just amazing game that's
never
regarded as like
never.
No, because PS3,
PS1
had a whole
trash. PS1 was trash.
What was the
PS3 had like
PS2
Resistance.
was like the box. What was that Square game? The bouncer, trash.
Oh,
I'd say the best. PS3 had MotorStorm. That was
PS3 had like Africa.
It
had Resistance.
Hey, did you said it that way? Had fucking Africa. That was
and Spider-Man 3, the movie. That's what that bitch had.
No, it had Resistance. MotorStorm.
Resistance was the launch title.
Yeah,
wasn't Heavenly Sword a launch title? Am I wrong?
I don't.
But that wasn't no peak like big.
No, I'm just saying.
No. I'm not Heavenly Sword. I'm talking about Resistance.
Oh
no, I never played it.
Isn't that IP dead now?
Yeah, it's dead because it was never all that. It was supposed to be like a Halo killer or whatever. Get that shit out of here.
I never played it.
You know who killed Halo? Xbox. Microsoft killed it.
Call of Duty 3. Here's the launch title. Call of Duty 3, Genji Days of the Blade, Madden 07, Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Madden 07 was one of the worst Maddens.
Was Marvel Ultimate Alliance a port of like the PS2 or something? Or?
PS2 port, yeah.
I mean, that's why they sell, like Madden and COD. That's why they sell.
MotorStorm.
Hold on. That was Madden. Madden was trash. Madden 07 was trash.
Yeah. 2K7. NBA 07, Need for Speed Carbon, Resistance Fall of Man, Ridge Racer 7, Tiger Woods Tour 07.
Just hearing that makes me want to stop playing video
Tony
games.
Hawk's
Man.
Project 8.
Lineup.
Tony's never had a great
Untold
launch lineup.
Legends
Never.
Dark Kingdom. Never heard of it. That was it. That was the launch lineup. So MotorStorm and Resistance, and what was the other Sony?
Can't wait to play Tiger Woods and Need for Speed Carbon on my new
Tiger
console.
2002 was a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Genji Days of the Blade was Game Republic and Sony, so they published. But, see, now still.
Oh, the Bouncer wasn't a launch title? I thought it was a launch title.
Did they have Resogun too?
That was a PS4.
PS4.
Oh, Blast Factor by Blue Point Games. That was a launch title.
Oh, they had Tekken Tag and Dark Cloud. I'm talking about Sony though.
Yeah,
that's Dark Cloud is Sony, and so I remember Dark Cloud was supposed to be the Zelda killer.
This was all.
That was supposed to be the Zelda killer.
I still won that one, Dark Cloud.
This was every launch title according to this website. So
MotorStorm is great. I'll give you that. MotorStorm is good. That was very good.
I liked the first one better than the second one.
That's what I bought with my PS3. MotorStorm and Spider-Man.
I bought a PS3 to play Metal Gear Solid 4, and what a reason to buy a system.
I didn't even I own that game and I never played it.
I played it, and then before I sold the system, I made sure all the games work. I tried playing it. The controls are so unintuitive for what you. I mean, it's just because all the games I played since then. There's really nothing like Metal Gear Solid. 1, 2, 3, or 4. 5 didn't control like those. 5 felt more like just a regular third-person game. I tried to play. I couldn't do a damn thing. It was. You can't see. It's like a top-down, so you can't see anybody in front of you. It was ridiculous. But I beat the game. I played it. I listened to all the cutscenes about the war economy. Forget the dude's name.
That must have been a drag.
He was always like,
that's
I always
right.
equated him to Wesley Snipes for some
Dark
reason.
Cloud was level 5.
Yeah, who did you say Wesley Snipes?
Whatever the dude's name was, that's the arms dealer guy that spouted off war economy nonsense for 30 minutes.
Oh,
that's gameplay, folks. Cutscenes, 30-minute cutscenes.
Yeah, I mean,
then you had to
Metal Gear
install.
Solid 4 is the most notorious of the Metal Gear games.
Yeah.
You had to install you had 30-minute installs in the middle of the game. You just had to.
Kojima had moments of being
like,
brilliant,
Kojima,
but
go make movies, bro. Just go and make movies.
Ass.
Clocket's listening to us right now, and he's probably making a fist because he loves. I don't know.
Metal
it seems
Gear
surprising to me that he loves that franchise so much.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Metal Gear is a
like,
very.
What I know about Clocked,
yeah,
for him to be crazy about Metal Gear, right? Yeah, I'm
not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's what you like.
Well, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 4 and 5 have gotten a bad reputation. 1 was like revolutionary.
Yeah.
2 is really good. Snake Eater is hailed as one of the best ones and stuff. It's really 4 and 5 that gave it the overall negative reputation it has.
That is true. That is
franchise.
True. I didn't care that much for the original style for how much it was talked up. Yeah, I played it, beat it on my Bleemcast.
Yo, Bleem.
I don't know.
It's really unexpected to me.
Yeah, you froze up there, T.
That Bleemcast, bro.
Yeah, I had the Bleemcast version, which looked great.
I hate all of that.
And I gave somebody the game. I didn't even sell it because I had the
man was like,
PlayStation
I
game.
got my Bleemcast on deck, son. Let's
But
get it.
I was like, yeah, that was a cool, like, the atmosphere, the movie like opening. But man, I got so frustrated at times. And before I sold Twin Snakes, I booted that up, and I'm like, I could never play
this fucking game.
I can't play these games anymore. Like they just.
It looked good though. I wanted to get that shit. I was like, and I thought, because I wasn't really into stealth that much. I mean, I played a little Tenchu and whatnot, but I wasn't really into stealth yet. And I thought, okay, maybe it's a stealth thing. And I would play Splinter Cell, and I fucking loved it. I was like, it's not a stealth problem.
You couldn't see
I was like,
the people you were
Metal Gear
shooting.
Problem.
You couldn't see anybody. You were just shooting at where you thought they were. There were some cool moments. I ain't gonna lie, the footprints when they followed your footprints, but that was a pretty simple, thing that they did in the first level. I don't know if it ever came up again. I don't remember.
I think it was more of just revolutionary.
But also, it had the whole controller with the Psycho Mantis. There was some pretty cool stuff in there. T, better get your internet. Better reset your router. He keeps freezing.
Frozen for a while.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just gonna let it happen. I feel like I would have been.
Well, yeah, I don't think PlayStation's ever had a really strong lineup.
No.
And the thing is, they keep having bangers at the end of the generation. Shadow of the Colossus came out the same year or the year before the PS3 came out, and it's like, why wasn't that a PS3 game? But then you're trying to maximize the game sales at a huge install base.
I mean, you got to think.
T, try restarting or something.
You gotta think.
Yeah, I can't. My chat.
Now you're muted.
Every goddamn day at this time, my internet does this shit. We're
Tell
gonna have
your
some
kids
problems.
to get off the damn Wi-Fi.
No, it's not my kid. It's this fucking service. I'm gonna have to hit these bitches up and
Who you got?
hey, y'all gonna have to give me a credit.
Who you working with?
You can't even. They don't want you to know.
I never know.
I got
they took a hit out on him.
I upgraded Xfinity to a gig, but I only get 20 upload.
Fuck. Spectrum.
Spectrum. Spectrum's basically the equivalent of Xfinity. It's like
trash. It's trash.
That's crazy.
Better get
Fuck
Frontier Fiber. A gig up, gig
It's not,
down.
dog. My internet is fine all day until right now. This time, podcast time. It does it every day. This time.
Some fuck shit is what it is.
What were we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, the launch lineup for.
Oh, about how
PlayStation.
Sony never had like a strong launch.
It's just crazy that's really true.
I think
Somebody said
but you were
about
right.
PSP and Vita.
Same thing.
We looked
There's
those
never
up.
a launch. What do
Same
they
shit.
call it? Killer app. They never have a killer app.
No.
No.
Well, because
The
I
killer
think
app is the PlayStation logo. That,
Well,
that's what the
Madden,
killer
Madden
app is.
02 was the killer app on the PS2 or 2000. I mean, I think it was 2000.
oh, wasn't?
Was it 2001? Maybe it was 02.
On the what?
PS2.
On the PS2?
Because that was like a huge leap in visuals for Madden. And
That shit was gorgeous on GameCube. I don't know nothing about no PS2.
the PS2, once you first saw the screenshots, we were like, "Holy shit, that's like an actual video game." It was ridiculous.
I didn't get a PS2 until later. I ain't buy that shit. GameCube, they got discs now. Oh shit! We gonna get all the third part. Oh wait,
They did get quite a few third party, but not all.
I think you're misremembering.
Let's not start this
Some of them
fucking
were
bullshit
later.
again.
They got Splinter Cell a little later. They got the Medal of Honor series. They had almost every.
GameCube got a nice
I think they had almost every
third-party
EA,
thing.
everything
This
EA
bullshit.
put out. The 007 games, the Need for
some
Speed.
tinted glass, retro tinted glasses. Those
I
was not
argue
good.
the GameCube got quite a bit.
Sounds
of
like some
third-party.
deep-rooted trauma.
When you
right
coming from
now.
the N64, you oh my god, it's all
But
good.
still,
Yeah.
they had a lot.
Yeah.
It had a lot of third party support. It was. I don't know if it was
GameCube had
50%.
great shit, man.
I don't know if it was 50%, 60%, but it was
oh my
a good chunk.
goodness.
50%.
Not just that,
You're
the
out of your
GameCube
mind.
How many times I was reading IGN and reading the differences between PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. GameCube was always in the middle, closer to Xbox for the
You gotta take off
visuals.
the Sony glasses, man. GameCube got a great fucking library when it comes
Yeah,
to
I have
third
a
party
Sony
and
Xbox.
exclusives and everything, man.
I'm just a
PS2
realist,
version
you know,
was always
some-
the worst. Then GameCube, then Xbox when it came to like
You-
the technical.
that's not in dispute. That's what we're talking
I know,
about. I'm
but I
talking about the
remember-
actual.
I remember reading review after review, and it was just like, because at one point I had the Xbox and the GameCube, and I'm like, well, where do I get which system do I buy this third party game on? And it kind of was back and forth.
it's
I didn't just pick one.
For EA.
They had a lot
Oh,
of
the
almost
big-
all
the big-
EA games.
Yeah, I'm just saying for the big guys, but there's a lot of AA games, a lot of AA. I mean, you know how many games were on the PlayStation? Those weren't fucking. Even the Xbox was getting shit. The GameCube wasn't getting. I'm like, this is crazy. Why Xbox ain't even sold that many? How come we're
Well,
not?
they had
getting...
Splinter Cell first. It wasn't.
Was it
till
really
later.
just because of the? Was it really just because of the discs? Was that really the big?
That's what people say, but that don't make sense to me either because we just came out of a generation where we were playing Final Fantasy on 4 fucking discs. Like nobody, and then even Xbox 360 had multiple disc games. So I feel like I'm. Oh yeah, I didn't put the video out yet. I have a.
It doesn't matter.
Well,
There are-
GameCube had some
There's
games.
a bunch of GameCube games that have multiple discs too.
Mhm.
Right. I'm just saying. Well, that's the. Well, he's saying that was that a problem that, but
Like
no,
was that
it couldn't have
like
been a
like
problem.
was it, I think was that around the time where people starting? I don't know if it was. I think honestly it was probably more of the Wii, but it felt like that was around the time the whole industry against Nintendo narrative kind of started creeping up in conversations. It wasn't. I don't think it was as
Well, so the
prevalent.
GameCube was like, oh, you got this isn't about discs and all this kind of shit. You just don't like Nintendo. Like this
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They did
Yeah,
have
you
to
don't
make
like
that
human
deal
control.
with Capcom. They had to basically pay Capcom for
Right,
5
they had to
years.
pay
and
Capcom for that.
Capcom,
But they did end up getting like all the Resident Evil games of the time and Beautiful
I will say
Joe.
that
They
the-
also had, they also had the RPG deal with Bandai Namco
Somebody
and
look it up.
stuff, like
Look up. GameCube was what? Maybe 600 and something games. Maybe that might be.
But yeah,
I might,
you're
I
right.
might
They
be.
did have a lot of Namco games.
And then- Look at PlayStation 2 or even Xbox. How many more games they had? And that was third party. It wasn't first party.
Xbox also had some
GameCube
games.
missed out on a lot of shit. They missed out on sequels. We didn't even get Time Splitters 3. What kind of shit is that?
Well,
What kind of shit is that?
if you really want to break, like they would get like a series, and then the game would sell like 50,000 copies, and then like
Yeah, the original
fuck you.
Xbox has like 988 titles.
Yeah,
I
But
remember, like,
I'm not
Burnout
disputing
2, Burnout 2
why they
came,
didn't do it.
Burnout
but
1
just
and
saying
2.
that was the case. That's
And
all
then
I'm
they're
saying.
like, oh, these games sold 50,000 copies on GameCube.
Yeah.
Why would we waste
I understand
bringing
that.
Burnout 3, you know? That's what.
I'm just stating the fact that
Yeah.
GameCube didn't get a
Yeah.
ton of.
I was
But like,
kind
how
of
many of those Xbox games are like fucking Minesweeper and shit? You know, like come on.
I'd be curious to though, like they put Burnout 3 on Xbox. Did Burnout 1 and 2 sell for shit on Xbox? They had the same install base basically.
Johnny Art says 621 games. Now compare that to fucking even Xbox's library, or
Yeah,
I'm sure
Xbox had like 300 more.
1,000.
No, Xbox. Well,
I wonder if Xbox just said no.
It has around like
licensing
900
fees.
and something.
Because-
988.
Yeah, I never really
PlayStation
thought
clearly
about
had
it.
way more than that. So
Unless the Xbox versions were selling more than the GameCube versions, they had the same install base.
I'd be curious.
Because
I
like
don't know if I believe
that was the big
I
thing.
think,
Why?
I think
NFL
Xbox Live was a big reason why. I think
That's
Xbox
true.
Live drove a lot of, even though it was a smaller audience on Xbox, a lot of people loved their Xbox
especially
Live.
playing 2K5,
Yeah.
and other online games. It was just it
Yeah, I
took
was looking at my Revolt copy and like the little fucking what was that? The little RC car game, and like looking at the guys on Xbox and playing that shit online. I'm like, damn, I want to do that.
PS2 had
And
4,000.
I said if fucking Nintendo launched with online with fucking Smash Brothers, would have been a whole different story for the GameCube, entirely different story. But they didn't.
PS2 probably has the most shovelware probably of all time.
Yeah,
Everyone talks
never
about this
gets-
Wii. Oh, the
Yeah.
Wii's shovelware. Well, the PS2 had way more shovelware.
it
Sorry.
never
absolutely,
gets
absolutely.
called out on it, but it had a ton of shovelware. Tons.
Everything. I mean, people they would just get these most garbage basic
Mary Kate,
games.
Ashley Olsen,
Mhm.
Yeah, ironically enough,
horseback riding and all that shit.
the PS2 has more games than the Wii does. The Wii is only
Yeah.
around 2,600 or so is where it's at. I see.
Yeah, the PS2.
You got to remember the PS2 had new games all the way in 2011 and shit.
Yeah,
it was
it
more
had
like
Persona.
2013.
Or no, that was PS3.
No, you're the PS3.
Persona.
No. PlayStation 2. I remember games all the way up until almost 2012.
2012, yeah, I was
Almost.
gonna
It's
say.
probably like the Wii getting Just Dance until 2017.
Right.
That's weirdly enough.
That was the
it
one
just-
game it kept getting, but this,
It kept getting and it
PlayStation-
kept selling for some reason.
That's also because the PlayStation 2 was selling so crazy because of the DVD features. So a lot of developers were like shitting out shit all over it just to
Yeah,
get some piece
that's
of
why
the
you got
cash.
all that shovelware.
Yeah.
Because they
And
knew a lot of
that's
the
always
audience
been
was
that's
like,
kind of been PlayStation's MO anyway. Hey, look at this media box. Oh, by the way, it plays games too. Like that's the vibe I get from the way they market. At least I would say the PS2 and PS3 specifically. The PS2 really, I don't know why you market it like that because the game kind of the console stood on its own 2 feet. PS3, sure, you tried the Blu-ray thing. It's just I don't think anyone cared enough to be like, I'm about to transition.
I didn't even realize Blu-ray, the drop off from DVD to Blu-ray till like earlier this year when I watched a video on the stats. Like the best-selling Blu-ray was like a fluke like spike of like Frozen or something, but otherwise like the best-selling Blu-ray was like 2-3 million. DVDs were 20
yeah,
million.
DVD so
The
crazy.
best one, the highest selling DVDs are in the 10s to 20 million range, and the best selling
because
Blu-ray
I
is like
think
two.
It's very simple. Why? Because we went through fucking 20 years almost of VHS
Yeah.
and beta, and by the time
Yeah, DVDs
that
were
was the
very
best
much a
looking shit we ever
revolution.
seen.
I still
Yeah,
remember
like-
the first time I
That
seen
was a
them.
revolution.
I
Yeah.
had it was Lost in
Blu-rays
Space.
is just more of an extension of that.
Lost in Space, the newest one, the last one, not the show but the movie, with and I saw the opening scene. It was like they're in like a cargo bay and it was metal and there's boxes and
Yeah.
crates and stuff, and I'm like, me and my brother-in-law at the time
I
were
didn't
like,
see that shit before.
holy shit! I was like on my 32-inch JVC CRT TV, and we were just blown away.
But the thing is, when did we get Blu-ray? 7 years after
2007,
DVD
8, yeah. It's about
started? Like,
about 10 years before it really was pushed. But
yeah, if we're really caught on.
and
But
a
yeah,
lot
I'm
of
just
people
saying.
couldn't see the difference unless you really.
So at
went
that
back and
time,
forth.
you said people were buying 10 million copies of so people had a bajillion DVDs. They're like, I'm not gonna rebuy all these fucking movies that I already own, and that's what
Just
people
for another disc.
just because it looks a little better.
I was, and you would be surprised. I was a late adopter to Blu-ray because I had a 720p projector. I didn't have a good 1080p TV, and I'm like,
Mhm.
It wasn't until until I saw Transformers on Blu-ray and HD DVD where I was like, holy shit, that's significantly better than the DVD. And that
It was probably 2010, 2011 before I really started caring.
So
And even then, I didn't buy a whole
that
lot.
hurt Sony because they thought it was going to repeat. They won the Blu-ray versus HD DVD battle, which that probably hurt Blu-ray too because they had the two competing formats out at the same time. You had studios who
Although almost nobody has HD DVD.
I still have my player.
Some people still have
one. I have one HD DVD because it came in my collector's edition of Pan's Labyrinth because that launched right around that time. And after that HD DVD died, but the collector's box has it. Pan's Labyrinth is also the first one. So afterwards, because I couldn't play it or anything, I bought the Blu-ray also. It's the first Blu-ray I ever watched, and I remember there's a scene in the forest. You see the leaves on the floor. I was like, "Holy shit! You can see all the individual leaves, man. This is crazy."
You got Jay Biggs here talking about he never owned a Blu-ray. Is that to this day? 2024, you still have a Blu-ray player?
Look at this gem on HD.
There you
DVD.
go.
Oh, wow.
I always love that dark, bloody, maroonish edge to all of those.
I actually like this Poseidon movie, but I've only owned it on HD DVD. And then the movie
You got game consoles that have Blu-ray. Surely you had a game console with Blu-ray, like a PS3 or...
You would think.
Yeah,
You never had a PS4. Maybe he meant a movie on Blu-ray.
No, just think about it. I don't think I've ever owned a Blu-ray
player afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever owned a Blu-ray
player. So you never owned a PS4 or PS4 Pro? You mean just a
No, I mean like a
standalone player.
No, I mean like a standalone player.
I got like 3 right now.
The joy of being a gamer was I could just buy a console that did the same shit. So I was like, why do I
but think about it. Wow. I don't think I even owned a Blu-ray player.
I couldn't stand.
Yeah, because why would you?
I couldn't stand using a controller to play movies.
If you are a gamer,
it took me out of the experience of like watching movies.
Man, but I'm a
I got a Blu-ray player because
that never bothered me.
I did own a DVD. I did own a DVD player.
Well,
I owned a DVD player before PS2 was out.
Yeah, exactly.
Got one for.
Well, I was always in
my mom bought us that VHS DVD combo player.
Yeah,
that's what I had.
That was the worst because they had, like, if you wanted to have like the good quality from the DVD side, like a component cable or S-video cable, then you had to have the VHS had like its separate AV out, so it's just a single video.
I can understand that, Juice, but we were poor and
you don't have all this technical.
No, even my when I got one from my grandma,
just wanted to be able to watch a goddamn movie. That was it. That was fine. We ain't worried about none of this techno Marvel.
I bought one. My grandma wanted My grandma wanted a both. She had to be on 2 different inputs because the DVD player didn't work through the coaxial out of the VHS player. So I had to write all these instructions for her to use the DVD side.
Really, mine was just like a little switch, like you just swap
she's
to.
Like 70 years old, had a stroke, only had one hand, and here she is trying to learn how to use a VHS DVD combo. I would have thought it would just use one video cable, they didn't. So anyway, enough about that.
Yeah, my DVD player, I always talk about it. It costs $550, and and 1999 money, 99 money. So
mine was like $640.
When the PS2 came out, yeah, there you go. They were expensive. They weren't cheap.
The first
one,
weren't
$99, $40, $50 like they are now.
The first one that ever came out was the Sony. It was $9.99 at Circuit City. It was a single disc DVD player, and I almost bought it, but I waited. And then the first
and you say I could buy a game console with a DVD player built in. Like that's, I'm surprised it didn't sell more than 155 million units.
Yeah,
oh, excuse me, 160.
That's literally what I used. That's what I used for my Blu-rays and I used for my DVDs. I just it was on the PS2 and then I also used it on the PS3.
That shit was $200 cheaper than the Blu-ray player at the time.
See what I did?
I'm already buying it for the game, so fuck it.
Right, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, so why would I go buy a player right after that?
Back before HDMI came out and the devices could talk, you could link devices together with like a little single, almost like a headphone jack cable, 3.5 millimeter. So you could have your devices talk to each other. So then you turn on the Blu-ray or the DVD player and just open the tray and it'd turn your system on, turn to the right input. That's why I never wanted to mess with hooking a game console up, watching movies through a game console, because I just like having a remote, hitting the play button. I didn't want to have to grab my controller and all that. It's just one of those things for me. It was just never felt right. Like playing an N64 game, you got to play it on the N64 controller. I need to watch a movie.
Yeah, that shit just don't feel
have
right.
A regular remote, hit and play. not like bringing up a menu in a game console or something. So that's how I've always been. But I think I've had 4 Blu-ray players. I still have like 2 or 3 of them. One couple upstairs in the closet. My HD DVD players in another closet, and so.
You talking about remote? Like, I don't even think I had a remote for my VHS. You could get my ass up off the couch and press the button on the system itself. Like, so that never bothered me that, oh, I'm using a controller. I'm glad I had something to control the shit. So having to get up. So that never bothered me at all.
I always had one of those tiny ass TVs that had like a VHS incorporated into
the VHS TV combo. Oh.
Yeah.
I also used to think those things were cool as fuck, and then I could never find one
until the VHS part of it broke and you're stuck. Like
or the
DVD, either or.
Yeah, it wasn't really. It was a cool concept, but it wasn't a smart idea in the long run.
It was a cool little, era.
I wish I still had my receipt from that first DVD player because I forget what year it was, but I waited until it came with like 4 or 5 movies. So I got The Wedding Singer, Lost in Space. I don't remember every movie. Those 2 for sure. And I still have both of them. I still have the DVDs and never upgraded. And it was just such a monumental moment getting back to the very beginning. It was such a monumental jump from VHS. And it was just unbelievable. And it's like, just like with gaming generational leaps, there's never going to be a bigger jump. You could have went from DVD to 4K and it wouldn't have been as significant, I don't think.
Still wouldn't, yeah.
So going to Blu-ray, having a Blu-ray player and it's not like streaming was out at that point because Netflix came out after the PS3 came out.
I mean, even like DVD or VHS quality was trash, but for me, one of the biggest things was the fucking aspect ratio. Like that was you saw way more like widescreen.
And the menu system, you could skip chapters, and DVD commentary was huge. I used to listen to every DVD commentary.
Man, I still do. I love DVD commentary.
Interactive menus, like put in the old Star Wars, Phantom Menace and stuff. The menus they're so cumbersome because there's all this animation you got to wait, and it was just it was just mind blowing. So the PS3. It was
the last VHS I bought. It was like $33. Fucking Phantom Menace.
I don't remember.
And I was mad because just a few months later, fucking, I get surprised with a DVD player. I'm like, fuck. I got Phantom Menace on VHS.
I couldn't tell you the last VHS I bought, but so the main point was the PS3, the Blu-ray player was never going to be the same selling point as the DVD was, and like I said, the HD DVD, there was a competing market. I think that really killed it for a lot of people, and just why am I bothering? Like, a bunch of people spent thousands of dollars on HD DVD, and then they just said, nope, we lost the war, the battle, we're done, closing the shop. I waited. That's when I bought my player. I think I paid $120 with like 10 HD DVDs versus like $600-700 for the normal price. So anyway, bit of history on that.
It was a nice little trip down memory lane.
Yeah,
I learned a lot.
I went to Best Buy on Friday to pick up my physical copy of Stellar Blade, and it's the first time I've been there.
He's been looking at cheeks ever since.
Since they got rid of the Blu-rays, I haven't been to Best Buy in months. I used to go in there almost probably every other week. I
don't know what a Blu-ray is. I just see TVs every fucking where. Good God.
It's like, I don't even want to buy my next TV from them. The fact they got rid of physical media.
You know what the interesting part is, though?
You're going to take it out on them? You're going to take it out on Best Buy?
You know the interesting part? I went to Target yesterday for groceries real quick. And I realized they're the opposite. They're trying to get the TVs out of their fucking stores.
They got groceries?
Yeah. T, what? T.
Super Target's like a damn Walmart.
I shop online
so to give context, T's reaction is actually legitimate like 5 or 10 years ago. Because when I was introduced to Target didn't have any of that shit. Target was like, it was like Walmart without the groceries, essentially. And people as I was always called, it was always called to me, it was white people's Walmart. That's what it was called. And it's really become white people Walmart now with all the groceries and the fucking Delivery, you always see. Now every time you walk through a damn store, you see 16 Target employees grabbing carts for drive-through pickup and curbside and all this other shit.
Do you have a Starbucks in it?
Yeah, every Target has a motherfucking Star. Here's the crazy part, Juice. There's a fucking Starbucks across the street. What the fuck are you doing?
That's ridiculous.
You know what?
I don't understand what is going on.
As a single man, I would say going to Target's not a bad idea because there's a lot of women in there shopping. So
there's a lot of women in there shopping. Dude, I don't know about yours, but they've blown up the fucking makeup section for Target. It's ridiculous now. I have to walk like a good 20 feet before I can start to see other things besides
like every attractive woman in my town, like pretty much only shops at Target. Because I rarely go there. I went there for my Switch Pro controller. I bought a few things from there in the last couple years. I was there a couple times, and I'm just like, dang. I mean, I feel like kind of out of place in the store, but damn.
I used to go there and buy amiibos all the time.
That is funny. I recently saw like a fucking YouTube short of a guy getting all dressed up and ready
to go to Target.
Like he's going out to he went to fucking Target. I was like,
I'm telling you, dude.
Yes, sir.
He was all like, it was like playing like a fucking Chris Brown song or some shit. He's all putting a clone on it. He's like, where you going, bro? I'm going to Target.
Dude, I went a couple times ago. I went, and I tell you what, it's like there was like I was like getting dizzy from like I couldn't believe it. There was so many attractive women like
there's
everywhere.
A lot of women at Target.
And I was like, there was one that was like, oh man, hard 10. She was just stunning, and I'm just like, my God, like what the hell?
Wait, was she a hard 10 and were you hard and she also was a 10?
She was a 10.
We finish the video. He went up to Target and he stood in line like he was at a fucking club.
Oh wait, I've seen that video.
So what are you standing there for? You can go. He said, "We can go in." Like,
I think I've seen that
video. It had me dying, bro. So it's really funny that you brought that up.
I wonder if that was the point he was making, because there's always like all these.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly the point he was making.
Yeah, I'm guessing that I didn't know at the time, but hearing what you're saying, I'm guessing that was the point.
That makes it funnier then.
Yeah, it makes it even funnier now.
Yeah, I was like, my God,
that's hilarious.
The game has changed, boy.
But
it's definitely changed. You going to Target now?
Two of y'all have already been taken for it.
Speaking of,
I'm gonna get all my Target women for myself, man.
That trip to Best Buy. So the dude at the store pickup, he's like, "What are you picking up?" I was like, PS5 game." Gave him my name, and he's looking at the cover, and he's like, "Man, what is this? What is this game?" I was like, "It's like a action game, fast combat and blah." He's like, "Oh, I don't know anything about this one." And I was like, "Yeah, it's a, like I said, action game, attractive lead character." He's like, "I see that," and he's like, "Man," he's like, I'm just playing Madden all the time or Call of Duty." And I was like, "Yeah, you got to get out of that, man." I was like, "I used to be like that." I said, "Try some other games." I said, it's the best decision I made." And he's like, "I might have to check this out." And I'm like, it's just crazy. It's just obviously a casual, plays the two most casual games. And it was kind of funny.
Super cash.
But yeah, I will say
controversy.
I would just say that the game, I really like it. I saw Reel 2 basically listed the minor gripes. I agreed. Some of the platforms look clumsy. There's no mini map, so it's kind of frustrating at times trying to find where you're going. But overall, I'm really enjoying the game. The combat's solid. I am disappointed. I ain't gonna lie. Sony stealth.
That is only an 8.
Yeah, Sony did some stealth, minor censorship, and the thing that sucks is because
y'all tripping.
Skill Up or Shift Up has proclaimed completely uncensored in all regions, and then
that was a mistake. But what I think, again, from what I'm hearing, it's not censoring a sex thing. From what I hear, it's a cultural thing. Because I forget, David Jaffe, everybody's favorite. David Jaffe was doing a stream. He was talking about it doesn't make sense because he what's Eve? Her name's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
He climbed the fucking pole and he had her in a skin suit and she was just a jiggling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if they were censoring shit, they wouldn't have this in the game. I'm like, yeah, that because she looked almost naked and she was dripping wet and it was I guess there was like
the skin suit, but it everything that got removed was like deep cleavage stuff, like the.
I'm saying though, her ass.
I know. But it's something to do.
Shot.
There's something to do with the side, the middle cleavage. They got rid of. They put an undershirt, and then they basically put her one suit. They just made it up no cleavage, and it's like, why make that change? And then it's on the disc. It's not there. Like it's a day one patch. And so then he had to come out and say, well, that was the intention. That was the intention to have those be the final design. Well, why does all your advertisement and everything you said uncompletely, and they toned down the blood for some reason?
Well, it doesn't make sense if that was it because you would just design her that way to begin with. You wouldn't have to patch it out. So that's some bullshit. That's
the only thing. I'm not gonna not play
I don't
the game.
feel good talking about this kind of stuff.
But I'm like, why did they
arguing about this?
Why did they do it though? Like, why did they stealth do it? And if you really want to like get into potential like conspiracy theory stuff, it's the hard R thing. Whatever you believe, whether it was intentional or accidental, it was posted on Twitter at like 3 p.m. and within 28 minutes, there was an article confirmed they're going to patch it day one with a photo of the fix. Like, how did they fix that within 28 minutes? So they must have told them beforehand, but waited to post it on Twitter for whatever reason. I don't know if it was part of the embargo. So it was already fixed and already had screenshots of the fix like 28 minutes after it was revealed. So it's like, obviously they knew ahead of time. It was Korea. So it was like nighttime by the time that first was posted. So they had already known. And I'm like, it's like I said, it's such a small change.
Didn't they fix it with another slur?
They replaced it with crime.
And it changed the crime and Crimer. Nobody's used Crimer since like 91. Like we used to use it all the time. We called it because it's Crimer is what the definition says, which is a black dude committing crimes or whatever.
Oh, really?
We used to, in the hood, we used to use crimey, so we call each other crimies and whatnot. So it's funny that it's still almost a hard R situation because it goes from crimey to crimer. It's silly. It's to me. For them to fix it and it be that that feels weird. I don't think they did it on purpose. First of all, the hard R or whatever, because I don't think fucking
like Prince Revolver says.
South Koreans knew what the hell that shit is.
Donnie and Prince Revolver said what I thought. We always said hard R for like a really violent, gory, sexy R-rated movie. Oh, that's a hard R. That's the only thing I have ever used hard R for.
I've never heard it. Is that context?
That's the only thing I've ever used it for. Till last year, you guys told me.
me and my black ass have never heard it.
And then the other people thought it just assumed it was talking about retard.
Yeah, I remember. Linus Tech Tips.
I thought that. My buddy at work thought that.
He was saying that on the stream. And the guy across from him was like,
"Oh yeah," the guy was like, "Yo,
their career was over." He thought they were done because Linus was like, "Yeah, in the early 2000s, we used to use the hard R all the time," and he was like, "What?"
So if anything, I've learned in recent years how many people don't know what the hard R means, and I had no idea.
Yeah,
and that's what's fucking me up. Like I didn't know.
But
people
that's
didn't
the
know
question.
People don't know it.
Do you think?
Now
do you
this
think
is a
Koreans actually?
No, that's what I'm saying.
There's also words in Korean that sound like words that aren't okay in America. So I'm kind of there was gonna be some loss in translation going on. So I don't.
Here's the other question.
Graffiti itself just said hard, and it would just happen to me next to the R.
Well, hard is located.
It looked like
in other spots.
R.
That graffiti's located all over.
Right. It's only because it was situated next to the R shop or whatever. I have no idea what that is. I'm sure you know what it is.
It's just Roxanne's shop where you accept missions.
Right. So that's what made it hard R. It wasn't the graffiti itself that said. Now that would be a whole different thing. If the graffiti itself was hard R. I'm like, what's this?
But the question.
And then they changed it to Crimer.
The weird thing, like I said, was how quickly that got.
With me now.
How did they get that when Korea was? It had been like midnight by the time it's 3 p.m. in California.
Motherfuckers were looking.
That's gotta be like, how did that get fixed? So they must have known in advance. I don't know. The people who really want to think there's a conspiracy say they were trying to get people mad about it to boycott the game. That's whatever. I don't think it. I just think it was the embargo.
That seems
but here's
strange.
the thing. Here's the question I have. So if I was like, I'm not saying like around kids or anything, but if you just said F word, not the actual F word, but F word, that's no one's gonna say, oh, you can't say that. You can't say the F word, like the word F word.
To be fair, I would assume that
YouTube says that shit.
I would say that's just the curse word. I wouldn't go immediately into what some people might go to.
Even if they did it like kind of as a joke or something, like, is it actually offensive to have hard and the letter R next to each other if they know what it means? I don't know the answer to it, but it just seems.
I think this is silly. I don't think the hard R thing is it's a nothing burger. It's nothing.
That's what I
just think it's funny.
But yeah, that's why people think. And the person who reported it was IGN, and whether you believe Alana Pierce's take on it or not. He obviously had a problem with the sexuality of the game and docked points for it, even though he get some legitimate complaints.
Right. That's what I think. A lot of people have issues with the game, and they found, this is our thing to bring it down. Let's pump up this hard R thing.
You might say white knighting, maybe not white knighting. Is that the word I was looking for? Like,
what kind of dumbass game would blatantly put in a fucking racial slur in the game? I mean, First of all, you're gonna piss off the people who you're slurring against. You're gonna piss off a lot of other people. Like, that's some bullshit. I'm not buying this. Nobody's doing that on purpose.
Yeah, like somebody, I don't know. Everybody's.
This is their first like AAA game. That's what's killing me.
I honestly, if I saw, I would. I can't say for sure. I don't think I would have put the two together. I saw the graffiti.
I don't know
if I would have been like, oh, that's hard and hard. Like, I don't know if I would have. I can't say. It's hard to.
I would have said it's funny. That's like a funny thing,
And there's nothing offensive about.
Put the hard word.
There's nothing offensive about the words hard R together, right? You're just explaining the N-word. That's basically what you're making an explanation.
It's a politically correct, or it's a way to say what
correct way
to mention the word.
Explain a word that you don't want to say.
Exactly.
So it's stupid. It's all stupid.
But anyway, like I said, I don't know why they edited some of the they had leggings to a costume where she was bare legs.
I saw that,
and I'm like, what's the like?
I actually think the costume looked better with the leggings, but that's just me in that instance.
I think it's appeasing people who shouldn't have been appeased.
Is it like a Paramithra thing? They didn't do that for Mithra. They gave
that was because of Smash.
In some instances, I liked leggings better. In other instances, I would have probably been nice to see. But at the same time, why
go? Because it was for ratings.
Like,
the Smash rating is stupid anyway. You got fucking Samus in like a 2-piece and everything. Like, it makes no sense.
No, with the sports,
they did make your boobs smaller though.
Oh yeah, no, that's like semantic bullshit.
Hey, listen, that's all that matters to keep that E+10 rating. God damn it!
It's just a weird. It was just a weird thing. It's like you said, why pick and choose? But then when you look, they really did get rid of any like side, like middle cleavage, I guess. And it's like, why go through the effort? And why, if you didn't say this,
I'm like, considering who your audience
here's
is,
where people
why would you do that?
You're right. You guys are right. Everybody who's bothered, I hope you're not upset. If you're bothered by the censorship of it, okay. But at the end of the day, as a grown-ass man, this is not an argument.
I get that, but at the same time, it's deception.
If you're playing the game,
you're
playing a game that you feel a little funny, if your wife walked in the room and saw you playing this game, then obviously there's something there, or your wife, or anybody. I'm just saying, like another dude walking in the room.
It's not like it's fucking porn either.
No, it's not. But what I'm saying is, clearly, it's not just a simple, easy thing. There's a reason they're doing it. It's not, there's political reasons. There are all kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, this is not a thing I'm going to argue with the company for doing. it don't bother me that much at the end of the day.
Well,
just
But
be a
yes, if you're false
thing.
advertising,
I
saying,
think it's just.
hey,
I think it's gonna.
this game is uncensored everywhere, then you got a problem. You said you made a statement saying this game is
and I
going to
think
be
Shift
a
Up
certain way.
might have did that, hoping to. And when they posted the crime over the hard, they posted it with that edited costume. So I kind of feel like Shift Up was trying to let people know, hey, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. They chose that specific costume to show the before and after, and you could clearly see that it was altered costume. So I kind of feel like the developer was probably like, this is bullshit. Let's because they had already made the claim that it was completely uncensored in all regions. So it's just like you said, why make those? Why not just cover up completely? And if you're upset by a couple costumes,
it felt like you were appealing to people who weren't gonna play.
and
your
there's
game.
plenty of costumes that are she's fully covered. There's like a dozen costumes.
My biggest issue is that people act like this is a new thing. Like, oh my God, this
It's
is
not, but I think that's the problem.
The new thing is the line about
okay,
it.
but what I'm saying is they're acting like this is something completely new. There's a conspiracy to keep titties and ass out of my video game. I'm like, no, they've been doing this forever. Like this is not
Well, they
this is
just
not
did it with
anything
Tifa.
new.
They just did it with Final Fantasy VII.
I'm talking back even with. You think everybody was in love with Lara Croft and how she looked? No, there was people that were bothered by, her polygonal tits and ass on the screen. Like people, this is a thing that's always been a thing, and I just think it's weird that people act like this is a new conspiracy to try to.
Well, I think
make men look at ugly girls in video games.
I think
that's a weird.
To be fair, that's based off of a slight narrative that the women in gaming are like, well,
the gamer gay, and it's all this shit that's leading up.
I
I'm
think
like, y'all some weird dudes, bro.
From
Like,
what
it ain't that serious.
The people I
at the end of the day.
listened to, they didn't really combine. They didn't combine the trying to make women ugly. It was more the
Sweet Baby Inc. I didn't even pay any attention to any of that stuff.
Sony Sony's been censoring stuff for a while, and this was the game. Everyone's like, man, they're not censoring it. And then they come out with the completely uncensored in all regions, and they're like, all right, this is a good sign, good stepping stone for Sony. And it's like, why do the stealth one? All the promotion, everything was, if you have the disc version, you can play it. I wasn't going to go through what it takes to play the disc version. You have to have your system offline the whole time. As soon as you put it online, it's going to down. Even if you turn off the download update, it didn't even show me that it was downloading an update. I installed the disc.
That's the wave of the.
I installed the disc, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's not. I heard it's an 18 gigabyte game. That's awesome. It's 30 gigabytes after this update. So it's
Holy
like that's
Christ.
another deception. It's like it's 18 gigs on the disc. Why is it 30 gigs? I don't know what's taking up that extra storage with this update. They announced it. They improved some of the combat. They quickened some of the moves and fixed some of the stuff. So I wasn't going to play the disc version and have my system offline and not be able to take screenshots and have them upload to the app and stuff. So I'm like, it's not worth it to me to like go through all this, play the game offline just to see a little more cleavage and stuff. But it does kind of bug me that it was just kind of stealthily done. Like if they would have came out and said it.
He says part of the outrage is now they can retroactively.
Yeah, they could.
Hey, we talked about this. I don't like that shit at all.
They can go in now.
I don't like you going into my fucking game that I bought and changing shit. Like I don't like that
tomorrow
at all.
They could add it. They could change another outfit. Like they could keep doing it, and it's like
the thing that's strange about it all. I feel is that like you got certain censorships. It's like okay, you can understand it. You had like back Bravely Default, for example, when we got it over here compared to Europe, compared to Japan, they had certain outfits change. I was like, okay, they feel like they look like kids because of the art style, whatever. I get it. That's one thing. Mm-hmm. But this is like a grown-ass woman, and you're just giving her leggings instead of no leggings. That doesn't even feel like censorship to me. That is just strange, I feel. I don't know. It's strange. I feel like, why bother with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say, like...
And you know the climate. So it's like, okay, if that was your final, that's what you wanted, fucking make sure that it was the way it didn't get... Don't patch any fucking thing later so people can get upset about it. Make sure when you ship the goddamn game, it's the final thing that you wanted it to be, like you said, and then that's another problem. All this patching shit that's happening. People don't. I don't like that shit. People, you can change my game after I fucking bought it and started playing it. I don't like
That's
that at all.
what I said before. Also, that's why I'm so. I think I don't remember if it was on the last podcast or in the group chat that I'm so happy that on the N64 your cartridges, my original Ocarina of Time still has like those chants and the symbolism on the cube, and then later cards they changed that. They removed the chants because they were like religious chants, I think, and they changed the cubes because it was like the moon and the star, and they changed it to like this mask symbol and stuff. But I'm like at least thankful that they can do that with old games, just change them up afterwards and everything. It's like you said, now every game these days they get like patched just to please more people. It's like just like what Ju said, the game was promoted a certain way. Like there was no outrage from that. It was what it was, and now you're just changing it to change it. This is unnecessary.
The problem is when you promote a game a certain way, you attract a certain type of demographic. So then
exactly.
So when you double back, it's like
you're pissing that demographic
now you've
off.
reneged on the demographic you tried to attract. So now I'm just feeling like you're lying to me.
I think as somebody, there's like T said, there's still plenty of like, if you're in it for the TNA, there's still plenty to see.
There's literally games that is just all about the TNA.
And then even in this game, there's still plenty of outfits that are really, fairly revealing. There's one, I can't find a picture of it. It's the one that to me is ruined completely because they put like, it's just got like a bunch of like I don't know, strings, I guess, connecting the middle. It's like a dress that's connected by basically like laces. And then just to put this like ridiculous undergarment underneath it, it just looks completely like ruined. And that's the only one I was like, yeah, that doesn't look right. But other than that, like I said, I wasn't gonna, even though I have the disc, I feel at least I have the disc if I really wanted to. But the thing is, if they patched out something because somebody complained and they patch out something that I really like, I'd have to delete everything, play offline. I think I'd have to start. I don't know if my save file would even work if I tried to go back to the base.
Dude, I'm still mad at Nintendo patched out my cheats for Tears of the Kingdom. You bastards.
Yeah. So that is something I think to be legitimately concerned about. Once you open up hey, they didn't say it was, they tried to say it was part of the plan. That was the final design of these outfits. If you believe it, if you don't. If they don't do anything else, this story will fade away. If they go in and now they tweak this aspect, tweak this outfit, then people are gonna be, all right, guys, like now I have no faith to buy games from you. Like, and it's like, yeah, it sucks that a lot of the censorship revolves around attractive female characters, but I don't know if they've ever. Has there been any history of
in this country, especially this country here, or in the West in general? We don't mind violence. You can blow a bitch head off 20 different ways, but you start messing with the sex stuff, then we get pilgrimage. We get really like
it's the opposite in Japan. It's the violence in Japan. That they get really
right. It's the opposite. It's weird. It's again. So at the end of the day, it's cultural. It's a cultural thing. I don't like people saying what I can't. As long as it's legal, I don't like you saying I can't do this.
It's M-rated. It's an M-rated game. They took some of the gore out. Like they reduced the blood, and I'm like, I mean, I don't care. I probably wouldn't even noticed. But when I saw the comparison,
I did see something about.
I was like, dang. Like, I think it's cool in games like Bloodborne, and I can't think of a right now when you get in a fight and your character's covered in blood at the end after you've like had this epic fight and your character picks up, I think Elden Ring does the same thing.
Baldur's Gate.
Until you rest or you die, your character's covered in blood and dirt and stuff. And I always thought that was cool.
So, Xenoblade 3 actually does that.
Baldur's Gate,
you can
clap their cheeks.
Yeah, that's the thing. Here, here's where I think it gets even. You got the extremists on both sides, but when people are basically shaming other people for Eve, and then somebody looks back at their Twitter post, and the dude had a completely nude human woman in his party in Baldur's Gate 3, yet he's calling dudes out for being, virgins and stuff for the Stellarblade controversy.
Yeah, like
in
if
his
you get
party,
caught
he's
in
got a
4K.
completely nude, anatomically full correct woman in his party walking around nude.
You got caught in 4K at that point. That's what they call it.
Or somebody got caught for praising the dick
Nobody
physics.
told you to look at my Twitter history, dog. You doing too much.
Yeah.
You got it.
Twitter is exposing everybody's hypocrisy.
I like this running joke that Juice has to scare his cat intermittently throughout the podcast.
Because she wants to jump up there. It pisses me off.
Get your ass
She already
down.
knocked some of my
Get your ass
figures
down.
down. She already knocked some of my figures down.
down.
But yeah, somebody was got caught praising the dick physics added to Baldur's Gate 3.
I hate
Gotcha.
that. you
Complaining
said that
about
to me.
the physics and so it's like, come
Woo,
on, you
dick
can't,
physics.
you can't make this shit up. Like,
Maybe you like it better than
hilarious to
titties.
Hey, I was still annoyed that they removed the bathing suit bonuses in Project Zero, and we got like this fucking like Nintendo outfit afterwards.
Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up.
but we did get a nice that Samus outfit's pretty good.
I know
It's
it is,
funny
but that's
that
'cause
they're
it's latex.
holding that. It's funny that YouTube was holding Lenny's comment with just a bunch of emojis and shit. Like
I didn't see
YouTube
that.
is on that.
you guys
YouTube,
censoring
listen.
emojis now? Goddamn.
I want to put this in context. Every time I upload a video or a stream, half the time I always get that fucking age restriction, ad suitability bullshit.
Are you serious with this?
Well, I think because I curse a lot, so that's
I mean, also the topics. Is
The man
sometimes
literally
good, man.
has a
YouTube
picture
is
of a
like-
bear.
listen.
A pear.
Fletcher, you come for the
cucumber
chaos.
in a
all right?
heart.
Oh, I appreciate the art. I'm just saying YouTube doesn't.
I know they don't.
Here's a picture of a bear, a pear, a cucumber, and the heart. If you don't like any of
where's
this,
that at?
don't put that shit in there.
Grizzly ass dick bear.
Yeah, well, that's
Bear, Dick Love.
that's the thing where it's like this becomes
got that big ass dick love.
you know from a
Bear
glance you're like, oh, these grown men arguing over seeing cleavage, but then you if you really dive into it.
Yeah, you're talking about the principle. I get.
No, but here's the thing.
If it ain't your
You got-
titties, don't worry about it.
You
That's
got
what I'm looking at.
Cyberpunk 2077, full character creation, penis, vagina. You can choose penis size. I don't know about vagina size. Completely nude characters.
I wish that was
Baldur's
for like a
Gate.
stop mission.
You got completely nude, full sex scenes, and it's like, and we're upset about some jiggly
Well,
cleavage
I
tits.
think-
Like,
It's the depiction of the main character herself. Like that's her sex appeal is like the biggest thing. You notice about her right away. Of course in Cyberpunk you can do things, and of course, obviously in Baldur's Gate you can clap bare
Did you ever
cheeks,
get this kind of scrutiny when that came
but
out?
that's not like front and center. Like you look at Eve and she's front and center. I
Yeah.
think that's the difference. I'm not trying to justify her or anything. I'm
But
just
it's
saying
like-
I think that's what the difference is.
it's like somebody. It hasn't been recently, but somebody heard the F word in a song at work, and they're like,
Oh,
that's not appropriate for the workplace, but we're all adults,
they cluster
it's-
pearls.
and it's
Wait,
like,
so who's it not appropriate for then? Because the word
Exactly.
fuck?
yeah. Now, if it was when
You're in
it's,
a professional setting.
when
I-
it's
I-
Rage Against the Machine, and they
You're-
say
you're-
fuck you over and over and over and over, I get that. Try to make sure we don't pick a station that plays that. But
Hey, listen,
a
my
random
first
song
song
that
is
has
pornography-
a single F
pornography.
word, it's like at some point you're like, all right, yeah, we're a pretty casual environment here at work, but we're adults here, so it's like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry
but
it happened,
some of those may not like those lyrics.
yeah, like I said, if it was
I
like,
find those adults weird, but they exist. Some people get offended by a lot of
know why.
things.
wow. It's
That
just
cracks me.
I've always
And at work, they can get in trouble. I don't think it's they're worried about the actual word. They're worried about covering their ass. That's how it is in the company. They're trying to cover their ass. So
Exactly.
anytime you think they're trying to protect, no, they don't give a shit. They're just trying to cover their ass from somebody saying, "Oh, this is how our workplace is," and somebody gonna call HR or some bullshit,
Mhm.
and then you mean all kind of shit. So I get it in that setting, because it is a workplace setting, and
I've always found
that's why
that,
they have
I don't
HR.
know if I'm just weird, but since I was younger,
Yeah, you are.
I've always like, why did we designate, hey, this word's like a terrible, like ass back in the day. Ass was considered a swear word. Now it's way more accepted. I was like, why did we just decide that, hey, this is unacceptable to say? It's just a 3-letter word, just like egg. It's like
Because-
somebody could have said
because-
egg could have ended up being a
Because
swear word.
America,
It's just
they
like,
heal.
who decided?
the hill Americans like to die on have nothing to do.
Because we're some Puritan motherfuckers, and
But
when you go to that's why.
That's why I always talk. That's when we always.
We have this Puritan strain in our culture that's very pervasive, and we get all bent out of shape about these little silly ass things because we still have this Puritan strain.
But it's only with certain things. Like for example,
of course.
Americans are very much like, oh, what think of the children with the sexual conduct and the words that are said, while also presenting us with movies and televisions and shows that murder people on the daily like it's nobody's fucking business.
Hey, they pretend to care about the children when they cut the fucking kids fucking school funding all the time. They cut kids child welfare all the time. They don't give a fuck about no damn kids. It's about their own.
Who said it first? Fuck them kids. Sorry, I just
But they'll use that shit when they need to use it as a fucking shield. But it's like, oh, if you care about this stuff, why don't we prioritize these things that are supposed to be good for kids? We don't prioritize any of this shit. We don't prioritize teacher pay. We don't
Back
prioritize.
in the day, you can open up a textbook and see a dick. I mean, was that a form of sexual harassment?
Well, but nobody blinked about it. It was not a big thing. But today it is. It's
apparently there was.
We were traumatized when we saw that dick in the health book.
I wasn't.
In a health book, that's one thing, but apparently
I see one every day. It's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to learn. We used to have fucking 8th grade. We learned about going through puberty and penis vaginas and all that. Yeah, it was uncomfortable.
It was fine. Nobody
had to learn about it. Apparently, though, I don't know what the book's called. There was a book that had like a person giving a blowjob, and it was in like 6th, 7th grade libraries. Like it was like, I don't know what the book is. I can't remember the context of the book. And hearing people.
What school you went to?
It was like recently, and hearing people from a certain side defend it, saying, "No, that's not. I don't find that offensive." And then he's like, "Well," she tries to show him the photo, and she wouldn't look at it. It's like, is this really appropriate for somebody in 6th grade to see? Like, yeah, that's not being taught, but it was in the library, and it's like, yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to
go to the library. It don't matter.
You don't want to burn books or anything, but at the same time, like, there's certain
people
things
read books,
you got to draw the line on certain things. Like, how is that in at all? It's not like sex ed.
Okay, well, the Bible has sodomy and all kinds of shit in it. We got to get rid of the Bible from schools too.
Yeah, I don't.
I've been preaching that for years.
Hey, yeah, this Bible's in school and libraries. Yeah.
Oh.
The Bible has crazy shit in it, man. Like anything should really go.
Like
all kind of stuff. Cutting people's hands off or touching genitals and shit. It's crazy. If you read the Bible, it's insane. But it's a great moral book.
It does remind me. It reminds me of that. They had an educational church video. It's an animation. It always cracks me up. Where it was like, he's like, son, your grandma's coming over, and she's like, and his dad's like, but don't let her touch anything with semen on it. She's allergic. And so she comes in the room. She comes in the room, and she's like, "Oh, what you been looking at on the computer, Grandma? Don't touch the desk. I'm gonna get a tower of plastic." She touched it. Oh my God, it burns.
What the hell were you watching?
The run. So like, as she's falling around the room, she lands on the floor. Don't land near the floor, near the desk. On my face. And it's like everywhere. It seems like there's so much semen everywhere. And he's like, "Why is this happening? If only I went to church."
Oh Jesus!
Oh my God!
The dad's like, "Son, why did you masturbate so much? I don't know."
They try.
Yeah, I gotta see that shit, man.
Remember that Surgeon General who got fired for saying that she wanted to teach like proper masturbation to kids so that they didn't do something to harm themselves and stuff. And
is there? How do you improperly masturbate? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I learned some lessons when I was a kid, so I ain't gonna talk about it.
What the hell does that mean?
We're in the woods right now. We deep in the woods.
That's hilarious. I want to see a masturbation fail compilation. That's what
I do remember that though. I do remember that in general.
But other than that,
This is devolved into something.
It's so
I'm
funny.
glad Retro
in
Death
the
started playing
spooky
Elden Ring again.
Oh, did he?
He had to learn the
Who did
lesson.
that to him?
He claims.
Wait, did you finish? Did you
I
finish
was
Elden
stuck
Ring?
so the reason I stopped for a while is I was stuck for so long. I was in Stormville Castle, and like I literally did every path with every corner like 5 times for like
Wait,
3
Stormville
hours. I'm like, I can't with this shit.
Isn't that
No, I'm
pretty
not.
early
I
game?
looked it up. And apparently, I never would have found that. There's a small area where there's a bag. You have to jump on the bag. Your character is this wide. You have to walk on a ledge this big. Walk over the ledge, jump to another tower, and then on the outside of the tower, jump in the tower to continue. I'm like, how the fuck would I ever have found that shit?
I thought that
So
was
now
optional.
that I know that, I've continued, and I'm probably
wait.
I think that's an optional because
you have to go
No,
like
you
that.
don't.
I mean,
I'm about to go. I'm about to check.
No,
Did you
Let me,
jump?
I didn't find any
brought
other
up
way
a
to do
good
that.
topic. Well, not topic. I wanted to bring it up earlier, but you started talking about masturbating and shit. So
Paper Mario.
Wait a
Let me
minute,
let me
Storm
finish
Man.
this thought with Retro. Are you talking about the one you have to cross and then the giant ball comes
I
down?
showed you a screenshot
Yeah,
of
but-
it, the exact location.
Only place
Yeah,
you have
like,
to
yeah,
go.
So you're at like the beginning of the castle. The main gate is closed. So you have to go over this ledge to go over on the outside wall. When you finish that, there's a tower. You climb the whole tower, and that's where you have to like that shit that I just described. Then you go over the roofs, and then you come into the area where like a bunch of people are in the back, whatever. And so I continue that now. And I
Oh, you're
literally
talking
just,
Stormville. That's right. I was thinking
yeah,
the
Stormville.
Academy.
And literally just before the stream, before the podcast, I beat what's his name? Wolfric, I think his name is. I don't know. Or Godfric, I
Yeah,
think. The guy
Godfrey.
with all the arms and shit.
You beat him.
Like, I
Nice.
just beat him.
Wait, you talking
He's
about?
pretty tough. Did you have help? Did you have the person?
So I tried it yesterday a few times, and I couldn't get him past a third. And then I finally got better. I upgraded a bit, and then I got him until he transforms with the dragon arm
Mhm.
shit. And I could, dude. He instantly killed me all the time. I'm like, I can't beat this shit. Then I was like, oh wait, it's Elden Ring. So I turned on all the online shit, and I summoned a computer helper, and I had magic spell where I can summon a knight, and then I was able to get him pretty fast.
Well, you can. There's a story side quest where you can get a help from a woman.
That's what I
barbarian.
did. That's what.
Yeah, she's just
Yeah,
there for
with
you.
these 2 axes and stuff.
So that I did. I was kind of like, I don't want to fight. I just get fought freaking. Who's the one before? It's like I don't want to fight another tough boss, so I use her to distract him. But anyway, T, you can talk about the Paper Mario stuff, or
yeah, we're gonna talk about censorship. How about we talk about this? We all these Nintendo fans up in here trying to cover for Nintendo censoring
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either. I know what you're
Paper
talking about.
Mario.
That's such a weird
Yeah,
change.
getting
I'm
rid
not
of
gonna lie to you.
Getting rid of the Goomba misogyny and the Paper
I
Mario.
don't
and
understand
Thousand
why
Year
that
Door.
was such a problem, by the way.
it's like in Avatar: The Last Airbender. They took away Sokka's few remarks that he was kind of sexist.
There's
but
nothing
learned
wrong
a
with
lesson.
sexism if they're
Look-
not rewarded for
And
it.
then
Jesus
they
Christ.
learned a lesson, and he realized he was wrong. Like how?
I think people are just
I don't know
like,
about
Right,
Oh,
that
oh,
was
you
the
just
point.
get.
You learned a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
My point, yeah, but it's like my thing is just if it's not if they're not rewarded for being misogynistic, then it's fine. Like the
Yeah.
idea is that if they're being misogynistic and they get punished for it or made fun of, it
Here's-
makes
here's
perfect fucking sense.
He got humbled.
Here's the thing: does misogynist people exist?
Yes.
So it's okay to have characters that are misogynist or whatever or anything like that. You know. Again, like you said, you're not rewarding them for it. As long as you're not doing that, then it's fine.
If you want to have a
And they're
character,
Goombas. We probably can stomp on those. Also,
Yeah.
Goomba's an
I'm
Italian
more
slut.
upset-
Why have we changed their names yet? If
Right,
we're worried
that's exactly. They still
if you
use
worried about
Goomba.
not offending people, bitch, change.
I'm offended by the fact that they censored about 30 frames out of the game.
Ooh, ooh.
it still
That's
doesn't have
my-
any. Still doesn't have any anti-aliasing either. So it does look pretty damn.
So,
I mean, it's a nice looking game, but yeah, it's.
so it's Metroid Prime Remastered. That bit
Mhm.
look nice too.
But yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, it's unnecessary. Did it? I didn't read the full extent of the change and how it plays out. Is
The
it just that
change is
one
more- they're
conversation,
like-
or does it play out later on? I don't know.
It's like
I don't
they're
remember. I
like
didn't
they
play that
turn them
game
into
in
like
20 years.
mobsters and shit. They're like fucking like you're on the wrong side of town, plumber, or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
You know, it was mainly about the woman. It was just a weird change.
like-
It's a-
It's-
I mean, that's in their character. It made
They're
sense.
pieces of shit. That's the whole point.
Right. So if you're gonna hide pieces of shit from everybody, we're not gonna be able to handle pieces of shit.
We're trying to be inclusive. Everybody can be loved just like pieces of shit can. Okay?
But I heard something to that effect. Like, it was like a psychologist who's kind of was like, their hands are tied. They can't like say certain things anymore. And he's like, the job of a psychologist should be to try to help the person.
We've
and
limited
insecurities,
speech.
and now the kind of the philosophy is to help the person is to try to change the world around them to help them instead of try to change the person. I mean, obviously it's a exaggerated, but also kind of true in some ways. It's like instead of telling them that, hey, we can work on that, admit your flaws or learn from this, grow from this. It's more like, oh, we gotta tell this person who's around you they need to change. It's just like a mentality. I don't know, because I'm not a psychologist or anything, how true that is or whatever, but it's kind of the same thing. It's like you actually, if you shield somebody from stuff like that, then they aren't be as equipped to handle it. Now, you don't want your kid being bullied or anything, but you want to be able to take some kind of somebody challenge their viewpoint, give a different viewpoint, and not like need to go to a safe spot. Like they were talking about.
That's why all the kids, the church kids, were some of the weirdest. They couldn't handle anything. They just, because they were so sheltered from everything. You think you're helping people when you're not. You're not helping. It's not helping. To hide people from everything.
The world. Like, look, the world isn't like it. The world is a shit place, and people need to learn that.
Right.
They need to deal with shit.
Right. They need to be able to handle that kind of shit when it hits them in the face and not fall to pieces when they see a little side boob.
Fucking cold everywhere.
Give me that side boob real quick.
Or it's like,
oh my god.
That's a. I mean,
oh my gosh.
In a game or a movie or a show, that's a good place to kind of show them that kind of stuff. Like,
right. It's a controlled environment.
Show somebody learning a lesson, and maybe it'll help them be able to.
And most television or movies have morality. The good guys win. The bad guys, catch hell. So it, in the context of if you just pointing out, oh man, look at them titties in a movie, it was like, all right, what's the context of the movie?
Yeah.
Like
in the 80s, it didn't need context. It's just
right. Well,
topless.
Yeah. Any reason you can get somebody naked and shit. That's what. That's how the movies went in them days.
It was for plot.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
like I couldn't believe some of the actresses in the 80s that was like, wow, they just in this movie, even like in Time Cop, movies. Mia Sara in Time Cop, I forgot all about that. She did nude scene in Time Cop. Yeah, like in Time Cop of all the movies, I've only seen it. I haven't seen it since it came out.
Like Time Cop though. That's a cool movie.
I haven't watched it since it.
You talk about Time Cop like it's a piece of shit or something. I don't like this.
People always seem to hate on Time Cop.
But it was just kind of weird for that movie just to have a random sex scene. And Mia Sara, I didn't even know she ever did anything.
I think it's random. It's his wife, isn't it? They're married and shit.
Yeah, but it's like, I didn't know the movie was rated R. Honestly, like I said, I haven't seen it since I was a teenager. But anyway, it has to be full boobs.
That don't make it R, do it?
Yeah, unless it's Titanic and it's like done for educational art. But anyway. Yeah.
Hey, you got decks in Animal Crossing. I'm just saying.
Do you?
Can we not?
Yeah. You got,
they don't have genders. First of all, they don't have genders in Animal Crossing.
That's what I'm saying. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay if it's art. You have like statues of like David.
So everybody's fluid.
In Animal Crossing, there's like full-on dicks in there. I'm just saying.
There's fluidity in Animal Crossing. They're fluid.
They're not even full circles in that bitch.
The N64 graphics.
It's 2020.
You can't even tell.
Imagine being fluid. Imagine being fluid with only 4 sides, bitch. We can't get a full sphere. How you gonna draw these characters in a circle and that bitch look like an octagon?
I love you, Animal Crossing.
You know what's crazy though? It's like we're about to hit May.
I said that. I was like, what? How?
Absolutely.
It's gonna be May.
2024 is the fastest fucking year I can remember in a long time. That shit's going by like nuts.
So
Hope that this slows down.
the No Rest for the Wicked's out on Steam. I'm waiting for it to hit the consoles. I'm looking forward to that. The Moon Studios new game that.
Oh yeah,
Asymmetric. Is that asymmetric or isometric? Top down, but it's like a Souls game. Isometric with the awesome art style.
That looked pretty good, yeah.
Hellblade 2 comes out in May, which, you know, I'm gonna wait. The previews sounded both positive and somewhat concerning. It says it sticks very close to the original in a lot of ways. We'll see.
I wish that wasn't the case. I mean, I wish it was expanded.
They said the stuff they played is the same. You go up to the wall. It's got runes. You got to go find a branch that makes an X type stuff. And I was like, yeah.
That stuff's still.
It's in the preview they played. Yeah.
That's my least favorite part.
It is pretty. It is kind of.
Well, I'm not paying any extra for it, so
whatever. Yeah. But other than that, man. I got Elden Ring
but
DLC.
I appreciate those Hellblade Icelandic rocks, man. They worked hard for those.
Yeah, they work hard.
Damn.
And they always
just gonna get the game like fuck.
He's making fun of that. The fact that they went out there and wanted to make it authentic. You know, that's very artful.
These rocks ain't in HD 4K.
That sound
60.
better be amazing with all the recordings they did. The audio ray tracing. Which it's actually cool because
that's pretty cool.
Avatar uses it and Horizon Forbidden West uses it, and it is pretty cool to hear the echoes and stuff that sound very lifelike. But
I like that. It's passion to me. It sounds like passion that they would really want to go through all these hoops to make a rock.
But if the game is ass, I don't care.
At the end of the day, that's.
I'm gonna wait for that juice review. That's what I fucking want. I'm like, if I don't get that juice review,
I'm gonna play the bitch anyway because I'm gonna.
I need that juice review. I need the entertainment value. I'm like, after all this fucking time, what's the game? Yeah, it's like a C. Fuck, man, it's crazy.
I mean, I put the first one.
It looks amazing. I will say that.
It's got to at least be better than the first one. If it's not better than the first one, it
looks phenomenal.
I played the first one 3 times all the way through, so it's not like I can say I didn't like it. I mean, I really liked it. I don't know what grade I would give it, to be honest, but
yeah,
it's.
Well, you don't want the same
grade. I don't want the same thing. I mean,
I need that juice. I need that to be a standalone video. That's what I need. I need that to be like a juice reviews special.
I don't do reviews.
I need it for at least
good as you think it's going to be. It could be pretty.
Because he's gonna give it like a 7.
I want him to be like, I could have done without it.
At the very least, I mean, I think it'll be worth playing. But I was kind of hoping before.
And it is $50. So if you have to buy it, that's a cool thing. You don't see that shit anymore.
They did confirm like 7 to 9 hour length, so that's about that's a decent
7 to 9 hours. I don't have a problem. People get all bent out of shape about like I got things to do. Like I don't need to spend 50 hours in every game.
Listen. Just because you accomplish your goal of being married with kids, we ain't all got that. We got free time.
But you got things to do then. If you ain't
you
got to get to that level. So you got shit you got to do.
Man, they not here. It's crazy. 2024. I can't do all that, bro.
I mean, it doesn't matter what type of game it is. I'm spending half my fucking time in Elden Ring looking at the goddamn clouds again. So I'm just saying.
A game like Elden Ring, that makes sense.
I don't think you
want every game to be as long as Elden Ring? I don't think you do.
No.
My next video is going to be literally called "Why Do I Not Finish My Games Anymore?" I swear, I'm working on it.
I
just thought because you like glitchy games.
There's an Australian guy who's got a lot in common with Retro Death. But except for one, he loves Days Gone. Thinks it was bashed and unfairly reviewed, and he loves looking around. He says he'll just look. He'll come to a river in a game, and it's like if it's daytime, it has a cycle. He'll stand there and wait for the night to hopefully get kind of a sunset and see how it looks on the river. He says he stares at rocks, but the only thing is he's a geologist? He's a graphics hoe. He loves the graphics side of it. I don't think Retro does it for the graphics.
Yeah, it's immersion for me, man.
He just wants to listen. When Retro looks at a river, he just want to get his face wet. That's all that is.
I do that shit too. I did that. I've done that in Hellblade. I do that. Like I'll quote unquote break the game and try to go places I ain't
Oh,
supposed to be.
Hellblade! If you sit down in Hellblade, you're just listening to her trauma. I feel like that's what that is.
No, it's got really good sound design overall. You can hear all the little.
Crazy.
I'm talking about like the nature.
Oh,
I think it actually
okay.
adds to it.
Yeah.
No, Clacton said he got annoyed by it and he stopped playing it, but I think the whispering actually, they're trying to make you annoyed and uncomfortable because that's what they're doing to her.
She's like, that's my life.
And it's not
bitch.
constant, but it's like sometimes it's more than frequent than others. And the later in the game, I don't even remember much of it later in the game, but either way, I was like, I want it to be really good. I mean, I've been looking forward to it, wishing that.
Wish that bitch wasn't digital only either.
Yeah,
what the fuck? I'm tired of this.
physical.
I'm getting tired of this.
But even like, I was looking because I was like, man, I pre-ordered Stellar Blade like 2 months ago, and it's not ready to pick up at noon. So I was like, they might have not got their shipment because usually they get says it's like things are ready to pick up the day before, and so I'm like, what the hell? So I look for Stellar Blade PS5. And no stores had it within like 100 miles of me. I'm like, what the hell? Did they just not get this game? There was one store had it that was like near Detroit or something. And I'm like, what the hell? So maybe they just arrived Friday and whenever they got their UPS and got it checked in, I was like, are they just not going to get physical copies in? Like, I didn't look to see if they had any in the store. And I was like, the dude's like, yeah, there was a bunch of them. That's why he asked me, because there was a bunch of them in the pickup, in the store pickup. I'm like, yeah, I'm pre-ordering it because you never know what game's gonna actually be available to buy physically day one. So that's the only reason I pre-ordered it. Like, I just want to make sure it's there the day it comes out. So, we're getting closer and closer every day to where digital's gonna be the thing, and then you're not gonna have the option to play the unpatched version before the changes get made.
A lot of these guys seem to be down with that. Well, I don't even know physical.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you see what happened when they have complete control. I mean, you're already starting to see it. You already can see it. Some of you guys they just don't care, I guess. But, whatever. Well, ain't nothing I can do about it. Moan like a dinosaur.
Some people
that I am.
Some people in the home theater, they're trying to justify building like $1,000 servers, $2,000 worth of server NAS, so then ripping all your movies and have to manually do all this bullshit. Every movie takes like 45 minutes to an hour.
No fucking way am I doing
to
that.
build up
do
to build up your movie server. And like, yeah, I guess if you didn't have easy access, your equipment was like in a different room. Like some guys, they have their theater room in like the basement and their equipment rack upstairs because it's like a whole house situation. So yeah, you can't just go, you don't want to have to put discs in, go upstairs or go downstairs. I could see that, but at the same time, like,
that's one of my biggest things against emulation. It's like, I don't want to have a bunch of shit sitting on a hard drive that might fail and I have to do this shit all over again. Fuck out of here. Like, or having a backup. You already spent that, how much, $1,000?
Yeah, and then they gotta have backup.
You gotta have no backup? Of course you gotta have backup. So that's more money. I don't want to deal with none of that shit. Running that shit all the time, burn your house down all the damn heat coming off that thing.
Then then you have to have a player. So the NVIDIA Shield is the #1 player because it plays Plex with the highest quality. Yeah, and the only thing keeping it alive are these people building these movie servers because that you can play it off that, or this company Zedu or something got
NVIDIA Shield
discontinued, and so it's like there's not a lot of good options anyway, and it's like that's a lot of work to do that. I don't remember what the original point was, but yeah, that's a lot of bullshit. just so you don't have to, because they don't want to, and then you find out that then they just give up buying the movie, then they're just downloading the file from some illegal site, and it's like, yeah, I can't support that. It's one thing to take your physical library and do it manually, but then you do it, and then you're like, well, I don't even need to buy these movies because this site has all the movies for free. Then I have a problem with that. I don't support that whatsoever. Same with games. Like, I would never just be mad at somebody if they bought Tears of the Kingdom and then also wanted to emulate it on PC. Like, cool, you bought the game. But if you're doing that instead of buying stuff, then I have a problem with it.
All right.
Dang. Oh, now I know why my cats came down. My phone is upstairs with the alarm for their food. Yeah. So we've been going 2 hours. We might as well wrap this up. And
It was a crazy ride today.
appreciate the.
I want to look up masturbation hacks now. I gotta
Appreciate
figure
the
this shit out.
conversation.
I want to see that fucking video that you mentioned.
Oh, the semen one?
We'll talk to you guys next time.
Oh, grandma.
Ashy hands.